Strokes one the other way. Back towards the wall. There it goes. Aaron Judge strikes first for Team USA.
Live from New York. It's a show that was rooting for Aaron Judge last night as a Red Sox fan. It was just wonderful. I loved it.
That's a weird spot for you.
That's nice, though. You get to root for him for Team USA.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It was Aaron Judge hits a home run. Roman Anthony hits a home run. I was also rooting for Jaron Duran, who Aaron Judge. It was very
You would have
confusing.
a problem with that?
I feel like you've gone maybe a little soft as a Boston sports fan. There's supposed to be some hatred. Root for Team USA, but you want Judge to strike out.
Wow.
Well, how does that work?
Well, I mean,
Then I'm betraying the country?
Well, it's Red Sox Nation, am I wrong?
That's true, too. No, I actually love the Yankees, though.
That's confusing.
It's a flaw in my Red Sox.
Yeah, it's a big flaw. In fact, it means you're not a Red Sox fan.
Right.
Maybe not.
You can't love the Yankees as a Red Sox fan.
Really like. Have you
No.
ever heard, there's a thin line between love and hate? That's me.
Good for you.
First hour, first things first. Today, Brew updates his S.B.o.B rankings. Is this official?
This is official.
Pen, pencil? Okay, excellent.
Looking
It was fun. It's some good choices out there.
Excellent.
I'll
forward
be
to this
interested
all
to
day.
see if you guys,
Meanwhile,
I'm sure you'll agree.
Team USA is undefeated. They play Italy tonight. Any chance we get upset? And the very interesting comments from the Mexico team manager who wants USA in a major way, wants a rematch. Almost
Well,
guaranteed.
they remember they beat us last time.
Very confident. And Scooble,
You're worried?
I don't know how to feel.
Making a lot of noises.
I don't know how to feel about Scooble saying, I'm not leaving. Well, actually, I am. And finally, Danny's winners and duds from free agency.
Yeah.
In a tough spot editorially.
Thank
The
you.
dud list. That's
He
what
wanted
it
to do the dud list. Dusty's always trying to push studs and duds. And we're like, I don't know, Dust. Can't do winners and losers. And
So
like,
that's
I'm on the losers list. It feels like a shot.
That's the
Mr.
tricky
Start Kevin
part.
Wilds. Danny Parkins in for Nick, who's in Japan.
Because they want me to do a dud list later in the week when Brew is out. But
That's
then,
a different meaning.
But then they don't want
Under
me
duress.
The dud list.
Right, but then
Andy's
they
under duress.
don't want me to do losers today, so duds. A lot of duds this week with me, which is what the comment section says. Go ahead.
We're starting with the Rams. Defense fell apart after Thanksgiving, and they're putting it back together in free agency after signing Trent McDuffie. They added another former Chief, Jalen Watson, to the squad. They have the best Super Bowl odds all by themselves, slightly ahead of the Seahawks, who are tied with the Ravens, courtesy of the Crosby edition brew. Bills, Chiefs, Packers, who just lost Romeo Dobbs. I think that's a pretty big loss.
Really?
Ahead of the Patriots.
Okay.
49ers, who got Mike Evans. The Eagles, who I read have spent $1 million in free agency, which is a lot in the real world.
Well, look, last year they had arguably the most talented squad, so they could afford to lose.
$1 million feels a little light.
Oh, the Howie Roseman will strike.
Waiting for it. Chargers and the Lions. Are the Rams the most Super Bowl or bust team in the league, Danny?
No. Your Ravens are. They're the most Super Bowl or bust team. Wow. You can't be the most Super Bowl or bust team if you've already won a Super Bowl.
That's a fair rationale.
Like I don't know the.
It's something to consider.
Like I don't know the first things first bylaws and what it says in the fine print.
Really up to Brew.
Okay, perfect. So I didn't have time to check. But if the coach and the quarterback
Depends.
have a Super Bowl, you can be S.B.o.B, but you can't be the most S.B.o.B. I would say your Ravens, who have
They just lost a ton yesterday, I'm told.
Exactly.
So-
But they would say that they got better. You would say that they got better. You have a quarterback who's won 3 playoff games, and we don't know if he can actually live up to his first ballot Hall of Fame MVP
2
caliber
MVPs,
talent
yes.
in the play. Like, we don't know. Right. So a lot of pressure on him. First-time head coach. I really like the head coach, but there's
He's got to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, apparently. There's a lot of questions around him. You got worse on offense, and I think most notably, you gave up. The Ravens' biggest advantage over the rest of the league is that they are arguably the best drafting team in football. They are in that conversation as the best drafting team in the league. And you traded multiple first-round picks for a 29-year-old edge rusher. So you have made a win now trade with a first-time head coach and a quarterback who doesn't win in the playoffs or play well in the playoffs. So, yeah.
Speaking as a Justin Herbert guy, slow down on Lamar not being able to win in the playoffs.
That 305.
He's Mahomes compared to Herbert in the playoffs, all right?
Again, I don't know why.
Am I wrong?
I don't know how Justin Herbert and his 0 league MVPs and not Hall of Fame lock status
supposed to be the best
is
player.
being put into the Lamar Jackson category of expectation and pressure. But listen, the Rams are all in and they're S.B.o.B because they have a 38-year-old quarterback who's year to year. But other than that, I think there are plenty of teams that are more desperate to win the Super Bowl, including the Ravens.
Brew, I know you have an S.B.o.B list. Can I diss the Rams for a second before you go?
Sure.
13th hardest schedule, which is
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack, but I like saying 13th hardest. Like, well, okay, 12 harder.
19th easiest.
Here are their opponents. So I think it's actually harder because anytime you have the Chiefs on your schedule, the strength of schedule is based on the 6-win Chiefs, not who we really think the Chiefs are going to be. So here's what I don't like about the Rams. Look, the road games are always tough for the Rams when they're flying around. They lost at Atlanta. They lost at Carolina. Even in the playoff games in Carolina, they had a rough time. So oddly, the fact that they were able to give the Seahawks everything they wanted, they will lose to the Falcons.
Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills is very tough.
So the home games, I like to look at a home schedule, a home slate, and just mark off some W's. Maybe that's because it's the Jets and the Dolphins that we're always playing. Yeah. But when are you exhaling at home? Seahawks, no. 49ers, no. Cardinals, yes. Cowboys, maybe.
Yeah, we'll
Giants,
see.
With Harbaugh, I'm not saying that's an easy win. Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Bills. I might be selling my Ram stock, which I didn't own to begin with, but I don't love it.
I mean, it's a tough schedule, but the Rams, look, they were close to the Super Bowl last year, and they've been good every time, Stafford's healthy. So I'll give the official S.B.o.B list.
Excellent. How many are there?
5.
I could
well, there's
see
more.
there being a
There are more
Baker's
S.B.o.B teams, but I got a top 5.
Oh, the top 5. Excellent.
I like doing the top 5.
Perfect.
Now, I'm going to start off by saying something I may have never said on this show.
Okay.
Certainly not a lot. Danny's right. Whoa! I think that's the first time I've ever said that.
I was like leaning in, like, what's he going to say?
Great day.
Yeah. You got
Yes, the Ravens are the most S.B.o.B team, period. Wow. For all the reasons you said. Look, and you didn't even mention this. They're about to give Lamar Jackson, I would assume, the biggest contract in the history of professional football. Mm-hmm. All right? Like you said, they gave up the 2 first-round picks, which I'm fine with that. But still, you gave them up for Max Crosby, who is 29, coming off a knee injury. And then Lamar, look, 2 MVPs. He's the only multiple-time MVP winner who has not won a championship in NFL history. Every year he goes without winning the Super Bowl, ratchets up the pressure more and more. Now, I do think, even though, others have said, and Lamar's actually pushed back, people have said no excuses and, this is the year and everything. I do feel like, now, again, they're number 1 on my list. But in some quarters, and maybe even to Lamar, having a new coach who's a brand new coach, like first-year coach, period, and then your offensive line has to be revamped after losing Linderbaum. Maybe that, in his mind, takes a little pressure off, because it's rare that you expect a first-year coach in his first coaching job ever as far as head coaching to win a Super Bowl. But they still are number 1 S.B.o.B. I agree with you on that. Which brings us to number 2. I doubt I get any pushback on this. The Bills.
Very fair.
Josh Allen, same draft class as Lamar Jackson, has an MVP. Same thing. Gotta win the Super Bowl. All right? And this year, with Mahomes and the Chiefs out, you felt like he really had a great shot. He obviously felt like he had a great shot, and they blew it. And the Bills, the fact that they hired the head coach Joe Brady from within, to me tells me they expect us. We're picking up where we left off and taking it to another level. So they got to win it. Number 3, you might disagree with this, Danny. I got the Rams at 3. Because of what you said, I get that you're right. The fact that they've won the Super Bowl, McVay, that monkey's off his shoulders, off Stafford's shoulders. But they're clearly playing for now. Like, there's no tomorrow as far as they're concerned, the whole F the picks and all that stuff. They are about winning now. We've seen from the moves they've made recently, Trent McDuffie and so on and so forth. They're all about winning it. And this could be Stafford's last year for all we know. Or he could get, even if he got hurt or something like that. So they're all in. At number 4, this one might be controversial. San Francisco. And here's why. Again, they're all in. You go out and give a $60 million contract to he'll be 33 in August, Mike Evans, 33-year-old receiver. All right. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, Fred. They're not getting any younger. I don't know what they'll do with Trent Williams. But they are
really
not
S.B.o.B, you should sign Trent Williams to a 1-year deal.
I would, but it seems like he wants so much money, they're going to have to really figure that out. But here's the other thing. Kyle Shanahan, I know he's the boy wonder, but when you going to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah. He likes getting there.
Right. Like getting there and having some questionable calls late in those games when he's gotten there, even in Atlanta when he was OC. So I just think the age of the team around Purdy, obviously Purdy is young, and then Kyle Shanahan, look, he's not on a hot seat if he doesn't win it, but at some point he's got to win it.
Yeah.
All right, so I got them 4.
I could see this going a few different ways.
I got 3 teams that came down to number 5. Philadelphia, Green Bay, and Detroit.
Oh.
And I went with Philadelphia, and again, obviously have a Super Bowl, but here's why. It seems like Nick Sirianni has to win the Super Bowl to keep his job. That's what it feels like. There's always a lot of noise in that organization. A.J. Brown, he might be back, for all we know. But Sirianni seems to be on the hot seat, and I think because the bar there is so high. Like this year, okay, you won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. This year you made the playoffs. And everybody's acting like the sky is falling here. The bar is so high, which I guess now, having made 3 Super Bowls in 9 years, you won 2 of them. Now they feel like we got to win the Super Bowl every year. Now, I made this list before, some of the losses. They have lost some players, but I think those guys are replaceable. Even Jalen Phillips,
now, what's going on with the Cowboys, the original S.B.o.B?
Well, they have been, they're historicly S.B.o.B. Because they're
like
America's team.
It's like another category.
They're like the Knicks. There's the Knicks. There's not the Knicks, but there's the Lakers, there's the Cowboys, and they're the Yankees. Those are like the 3 national teams.
Yep.
And so every year, no matter how good or bad they are, it's kind of.
I thought the Knicks were.
They're like Grant.
I thought the Knicks was good. Like, yeah, they should win it, but they won't.
But
it's
they're
fun
not.
To talk
they're
about
not
it.
like a
Sorry,
great
Ram.
franchise. I hate to say it.
Okay.
They're an expensive.
You want to move to baseball? You have quick final thoughts.
The only thing is, I would have the Lions significantly higher on the list. I probably would have put them at 3rd.
Here's why
the franchise's history.
Right. Here's why I didn't put the Lions in, and why I put Sirianni above them. Campbell has job security.
Yeah.
Like no matter, I get it.
It's a younger core of players, no question, but no Super Bowl in
Same
franchise
thing for the
history.
Packers.
Pacheco?
I mean, they got Super Bowls.
Like it?
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is just a stud. I don't know that that's going to be a big role for him.
I like it.
I mean, he'll be, but Gibbs going to be the full-time.
Of course, but
it'll help a little, yeah. I like it.
I think Pacheco still has a little bit of something.
He's got some
I
juice
agree.
left.
I don't think it's just all. Pacheco's not good anymore. I'm like, no. I think the Chiefs were.
I think that was a good signing for them and him. Yeah.
Okay, head to Houston, where Team USA remained perfect. Paul Skeens dominant. Aaron Judge and Roman Anthony both hit home runs in the 3rd to make it 5-0. Game ended 5-3. USA has been rolling, but Mexico manager Benji Gil wants one more shot at Team USA. Take a listen.
I hope we play the U.S. again. That would be awesome. I would be ecstatic to face them again. For one, it's probably the championship, right? It's a championship in Miami. In fact, you know what? I want to face them more than I want anything else in the world. How's that? unless I don't know. Well, I don't know what the lottery is at right now, but if the lottery is somewhere around 800 million, then yeah, I'll win the lottery and cheer everybody from far. But outside of that, I desire that more than anything in the world. Face them again in Miami. I think that we'll end up 1-1 against the U.S.
All right, Brew, your reaction to that soundbite and what you've taken away from Team USA.
I'm here for it. I like what he said. Because even though we've only won 1 out of the 5 World Baseball Classics, we're still the big boys. The major leagues are in the United States. Mm-hmm. And so we're still the evil empire, if you will. And he feels like, with good reason, I mean, our team is stacked. We obviously beat them yesterday, but they did have the tying run on base, in the 8th inning? Mm-hmm. And so they feel like we can beat them, and they have beaten us in the past. So I think he's just like, we know we can beat them. They've got, not only are they the USA where Major League Baseball is, but they got a stacked lineup that if we beat Judge and Harper and Schwarber and so on and so forth, that just makes us look that much better. So I love what he's saying. Look, I do think, as much as you can say in baseball, which we know is a fickle sport, I do think now Team USA should roll to the final. They don't have to play, as A.J. Brzezinski told us yesterday, they don't have to play Japan or the Dominican Republic until they would get to that championship game because of the brackets. So I thought Mexico going in was probably going to be our toughest game. We'll see if that plays out. But, yeah, I think now we should roll right into the finals.
I love his calculus there. Well, other than, what's the lottery at?
Yeah, if it's 800
If it's 800 million, like 300 million, he's just interested in the World Baseball Classic. But 800 million, so I like that internal calculus. You know, I covered baseball for forever. Covered the Royals, couple World Series teams, Cubs playoff teams, White Sox playoff teams. And when you're doing radio every day in a baseball market, one of the things you would just say is like, well, it's baseball.
Right.
Like,
right.
Anything can happen. You do 162 games, and then it comes down to, best of 1, a best of 5, a best of 7. It's baseball. Anything can happen. So, sure, it's baseball. Anything can happen. But this lineup is so overwhelming. You watch, and it's an overwhelming.
It's nonstop.
It's nonstop. And so, can they lose? Of course. Is anyone in their right mind going to pick them to lose? I don't see how you could.
So I'm going to show. Can we show the pitching, Dust? Team USA pitching. Our ERA, we're giving up 3 runs a game. 16. That's his total hits. 6 home runs. Jaron Duran had 2. Opponent batting average is at 168. Here's the thing. Skubal's out. He gave you 1 game, and he says, I'm going back. Skeens is going to go 1 more. Yeah. It's not like it's the hitting depth is not on par with the pitching depth. Partly by design, and everyone's dealing with that.
That's right.
But if you have a journeyman guy who gets hot and wants to go longer or throw more intense when we have our guys kind of.
Yeah.
It's a half measure for us by design.
No, well, I agree with you. And our pitching, I think, is one of our big advantages, even though our lineup is stacked. DR's lineup is stacked, too, and then, obviously, Japan is good. But our pitching might separate us. But to your point, if we're not able to go with our best guys all the time, then it could change. I wonder if, again, we talked with AJ yesterday, we've gotten more into the World Baseball Classic as the years have gone on, and we haven't won it a lot. I wonder if going forward, obviously teams don't want their players getting hurt, but will we if we don't win this with this stacked offensive lineup, will we let the pitchers look? We're really trying to win the WBC.
Yeah.
Just like Team USA in basketball.
Yeah, but
we don't put minutes restrictions on them.
No, but the Skubal issue is it's almost Detroit's fault. That if Detroit gave him his massive deal and he was locked up for $300 million, maybe he'd give us another game. But even the other day, he's like, I'm going to talk to the Tigers and I'm going to talk to my agent. I'm like, no, dude, you can't go again. You can't blow out your arm and risk 100. I understand it.
Yeah.
But it also stinks.
It might be a calendar problem. Like, these baseball teams are giving guys 9-figure deals right before, and it's right before the start of the regular season. And they're like, we want you to win it too, but we just can't risk it. So I don't know that you solve that problem.
If you've got the money, like,
But a
But the
player would be
teams-
cool with
the
it, but then would a
team's
team
not
be
going.
cool with it?
Well,
But
my
again-
money's guaranteed, so I'm going to do it.
You still,
Sure.
and you have that issue in the other sports, like basketball. I mean, a player could get hurt.
Yeah.
But like you said, if they have locked up the contract.
But it's not right before the finals.
No, but if it, I agree. Yeah,
anything else,
or
like,
before
all
the
right,
season.
like-
it kind of is before the season. It's in the summer.
Paul Skeens will be there. He's going to get plenty of starts.
I agree.
And Pirates, I hate to break it to you, as a
This is a big
Pirates
deal.
guy,
Yeah.
this is the highlight. All right, head to OKC, game tied at 126. SGA step back three wins it. He goes for 35-9, 15 assists, Brew. Also tied Wilt with 126 games consecutive with at least 20 points. Here's Joker on SGA in that record, and then SGA on the game-winning shot. Take a listen.
I don't know, do people know how hard it is to do that, to play, to make a 20-point game in 10 games, not 120, whatever. It's special, and he's a special player, and it's a pleasure and privilege to battle against him.
I have answers to the test, but I got to see the questions first. So once I seen he was on my left and I was going right, I think it was Christian Braun that was in the gap. So I knew I probably was if I drove to shoot a midi, it was probably gonna be a contested with two guys. So I tried to separate from the three and get a good, comfortable shot, and then went down.
What was your number one takeaway from this game, Brew?
Well, first, let me shout out SGA. I think he's telling me, not so fast. You said Wemby's the best player in the world, not so fast. Great game by SGA. The 2 threes on the last 2 possessions, phenomenal. And I want to congratulate him. Think about this, Michael Jordan did not do this. What he's the 20 straight, 126 games, 20 straight points. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, none of them did this. This is incredible what he's done. And Greg Jennings and I were talking before the show, and we were saying, and I've said this before on this show, if SGA's game was more spectacular, like everything else was the same, but he was a high flyer, like Ja Morant's type, as far as the excitement quotient, we would be talking about him, I think, in historic terms.
We
would be talking
already.
about, I know. And what we came to, because usually the face of the league, which he would be if he was more spectacular, and the guy that's regarded as the best player in the league is generally has something unique about them as far as the way they play, the excitement level, or the size. Jokic is 7 foot, or what Shaq was huge. He is like a perimeter version of Tim Duncan. And he's a little more exciting than Duncan, but you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to necessarily capture our imagination. All he's going to do is go out there and play fundamentally sound, excellent basketball, and win, we'll see, more championships. So he's fantastic, but go ahead, because I don't want to step on your toes if you're going to say something.
No, listen, SGA can get anywhere he wants on the court at any given time. He's a remarkable player. Can I borrow the bonus take?
Oh, yeah,
Because this was the game of the year. Yeah. That was everything you could possibly want out of regular season basketball. It was captivating theater, start to finish. So I have 2 bonus graphics, and then I'll get to my biggest take.
3 takes?
Wow, that's 3.
You're going to take my extra take.
A triple take, if you will. You might want to save a spot for SGA atop your MVP ballot. That game last night was.
Oh, you think that ended it?
I don't know that it ended it, but if he hits that 65-game threshold, we will talk about that game when we're talking about him winning another MVP. He did something last night only LeBron's done. 35 points, 15 assists, 0 turnovers in a game. Like, the Wilt thing is obviously an incredible all-time accomplishment, but that performance, it's like, if it's you and LeBron, we should at least take 15 seconds to note that it happened when he's carrying this team this year in the way that he's doing it. The Denver side of it, why I cannot eliminate them and why I had them second on my title pie is Oklahoma City has the best defense in the league. And I know that they had guys out, which I'll get to in a second, but Denver has just proven that they can score against Oklahoma City. They did it in the 7-game series last year. They've done it this year. Like, the Thunder give up 107 points to everybody else per game. They give up 119 when they play Joker. SGA said he has the answers to the test. Jokic has the answers to the test against OKC. Can't write him off.
3-0.
No doubt, but those games all the games have been single digits.
Yeah.
They've all come down to the end. And then, Brew, this is the last thing, and there's no graphic here. This is just more of a feel for it. I don't think I've ever seen a deeper team than Oklahoma City. Hartenstein out last night. Caruso out last night. The good Jalen Williams, who, if people forget, he had 3 NBA Finals games where he scored more than 25 points. He had a 40-point Finals game. He was All-NBA defense last year. He was an All-Star last year. He's out. Their other Jalen Williams had 29 last night. Jared McCain had the best plus-minus of any player in the game. Like, this team is so incredibly well-constructed and deep. We've seen maybe better, more spectacular starting fives. We've seen better duos at the top. I honestly, in my 30 years of watching basketball closely, I don't think I've ever seen a deeper basketball team than the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Look, they're very deep. I think the system, I feel, has something to do with that. But it does feel like you can just plug guys in. Even when SJ was out, they kept winning. They had a winning record even when he was out. I agree with you because my other take was Denver. Don't write them out. Now, I will not, I don't think, pick them to win the West, but I do think they're capable. They have been struggling. They're now the 6th seed. They're a game and a half ahead of Phoenix for 7th.
Yeah.
All right, so if they fall out of the top 6, then anything can happen in these 1-2 game situations in the play-in. But if they're in the top 6, you have to take them seriously and give them a shot of at least knocking out one of the top, like OKC, which I think they could knock out OKC or San Antonio, or even winning the whole West. Because last night, Aaron Gordon was back.
Yes,
it was just his second game back, but he didn't play well in his first game. Last night, 23 and 10. He's getting back to himself, it seems. And then give Jamal Murray credit, played through that ankle injury. And so if Denver's issue is health, even healthy, they're not guaranteed to win the West. But if they go into the playoffs at full strength, then OKC, Denver, San Antonio, and I'll still throw Minnesota in there as a sport. But they're right there with those teams.
Next game is April 10th in Denver. I'd like to see Denver win one of them before I start to believe in them.
Well, we saw 3 in the playoffs last year.
Should the Eagles be worried? Next. 3's not enough for the record.
Yeah, you got to win 4.
Yeah, that's
right.
Welcome back to First Things First. Greg Jennings is here with a great-looking tie. Welcome back, Greg.
I like the suit.
Check out the YouTube channel if you get a chance, and our podcast. Where are we at, Gianna? Number 41? What? We got to work harder on that. So check out the podcast if you get a chance.
I liked it better when you were lying. Number 3 in the world.
I keep people on their toes. Great news. Geno Smith is back on the Jets. Started his career 2013 in New York before bouncing around, finding success in Seattle, where he won Comeback Player of the Year. Sent a text to Ian Rappaport. Text from a pumped Geno Smith. Complete full circle moment back to where it all began. I'm excited to connect with my new teammates and coaches and everyone in the building, as well as build a new relationship with the fan base and community. I love this. Brew, what is there not to love? What is there not to love about this story?
Honestly, I would feel this way for any quarterback going to the Jets. I mean, look, I know Geno was not good last year. I had my fun with the Geno and all that. And I don't know if he's going to turn it around or not. I feel like he is not going to turn it around with the Jets. And I look, if he had gone somewhere else, Minnesota or Pittsburgh even, like, I would feel like, okay, I'm willing to give him a chance because he was so good those previous 3 years. Maybe last year was just a bad situation. He going to another bad situation. In fact, this one might be even worse. And maybe I'm even pumped up more about this because of what we just saw. Sam Darnold, this is what teams want. We got the number 3 pick in a quarterback-heavy draft. We got Sam Darnold. What was Zach Wilson? 2? Second pick?
Yeah.
We got Zach. Neither one of them panned out for him. And it turns out Sam Darnold was actually a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They didn't know what to do with him. So you mean to tell me you think they're going to resurrect Geno's career? Look, I don't know if anybody else wanted Geno, so I'm good.
I don't think it needs resurrecting.
No. Well, after after last year,
That's
does.
it. It was just a bad day.
Yeah, but it was
a bad 15 games.
But with his
Yes.
with a long day.
If you dress great, if Greg dresses great every day, and then one
after
day
3 months straight of not dressing well, that changes things.
it's just
and here's
the Raiders.
The other thing.
Who was good on the Raiders? Is Pete Carroll not a good coach? Zasha Jetty can't run the ball? Max Crosby's the only guy who was any good on the Raiders last year, and they sat him down.
The Jets are just as, if not worse.
That is a good point.
That's the problem. He got Garrett Wilson. He got Brees Hall. They got some. I hope I'm wrong. I just feel bad for Geno. I'm not making fun of him. I feel bad for him.
So, for the Jets, the positive side of this.
Yes.
The Jets got better at quarterback.
Yes.
They improved at quarterback. That is the name of the game. You want to get better at quarterback. Clearly, I don't know how you feel about it with the look on your face.
Well, I'm just
with Geno,
hard to get worse.
This is a lot of what happened last year. I'm not excluding Geno from the mix because he could have played and he should have played better. But when you have an offensive line that doesn't show up, that you got people in your defenders in your face every single snap, you start to change and lose your fundamentals. And we saw that. Interceptions spiked mightily, decision-making, even some of the accuracy. And he wasn't what we saw in previous years with Seattle. However, when you go to a team like the Jets where you were drafted by this organization, you were young, you weren't the player that you hoped to be for the organization, and obviously you didn't care for how the organization was run then. But you're a much mature player. You've proven that you can play in this league. So there's no doubt that he can play. It's a matter of, can he be what they need him to be prior to them getting their guy? Because Geno's not the long-term answer.
Right.
He's just, again, and we use this word with a lot of teams that struggle to find their quarterback. He's just a bridge guy right now. But he's
bridge to what? That's the problem with them.
Everybody has been a bridge guy, but he's probably one of the better bridge guys that we've seen.
That's right.
Go back to New York.
I'm with all that.
Listen, I think that Geno Smith did not have a lot of options in terms of I can go somewhere and be a starter. I don't think I got to imagine, text to Ian Rappaport aside, like if he could pick where he would go, I'm sure he would prefer to go to Minnesota and throw to Justin Jefferson. Maybe he would prefer to go some of these other places. But he's like, Geno Smith threw 17 interceptions in 15 games last year. He was awful. The 3 years before that, he was top 8 in yards, touchdowns, and completion percentages over a 3-year body work. So I absolutely believe that Geno is better than what he showed with the Raiders. But this is the part that, on just like a human level, and you could probably speak to this, like, he's 35 years old and he has 98 starts. He had a 7-year stretch of time where he only started 5 football games because he was a backup, like post the Jets.
Yeah.
Geno probably just wants to play football. Oh, you'll let me be a starter? Okay, I'll go there. Even if I can't really win, even if the organization treated me poorly in the past, even if the fans treated me poorly. Like, he didn't have 6 options. He had this option where he could be a starter, so he took it.
Yeah, again, when you get drafted by a team, you hope to be what they drafted, and you want to see that really pan out. He has an opportunity to do what a lot of us dream. If the Packers had come to me at the end of my career and said, hey, Greg, you want to come back? I'm like, yeah, and I go there and I continue to have success. That's just like a bow on the end of my career. That's Geno right now.
He's going there on a mission.
Yeah, you want to be the reason why you turn the organization around, but I don't think that's the driving force. He just wants to get them started in the right direction.
That means something.
Yes,
For the
absolutely.
Jets, they're not S.B.o.B. They just need to get up to we're a serious franchise.
Yes.
And Aaron Glenn is a serious guy. And now we have a serious quarterback. Minka Fitzpatrick, like, the defense can be, I don't know, something. The Jets are not well run historically.
No, I know.
And now they have some serious players.
Yeah, I'm not down in Geno on this. I agree with Danny. Like, this might be the only chance he would have had to start, and I get it. Go somewhere and start. He doesn't want to back up anymore. But I just feel like
I love
bad
it.
situation.
I think it's a Storybook
I
ending.
do too. I
it's
really like
fantastic.
that.
Is it going to be storybook if they're 1-6 and he's got 1.5 picks per game?
No.
I'm just
No,
that's
I would say that
I
would
just
be
think
bad.
it could end up being that situation.
That wouldn't be great.
I just
will
feel for
concede
you, man.
that
I just
point,
feel
but I
for
like
you.
the idea of Geno getting a fresh start back on the team that drafted him.
Okay.
Afternoon headlines sponsored by Hilton Garden Inn. Hilton, it's for the stay. Eagles GM Howie Roseman, known for making deals. So far, not so much. Headline from the Delaware News Journal, Martin Frank. Why Eagles free agency disaster will only get worse. Can they respond? Article wasn't as caustic as the headline. Actually, had some faith in Howie Roseman.
I mean, in Philly, they're like, oh, that's nice.
Nevertheless, Jahan Dotson went to the Falcons. Jalen Phillips went to the Panthers. Nakobe Dean to the Raiders. Reed Blankenship to the Texans, which I love for the Texans. Don't forget, I'm very high on the Texans. A lot of people saying they had an all-time great defense last year. Until they got to the playoffs, all of a sudden they were no good.
Quarterback.
Quarterback is sneaky great.
The quarterback of the Texans?
Yes, I believe in the quarterback and the Texans in a major way, but hold on, we got to talk about the Eagles. Should Eagles fans be concerned with this lack of movement? Greg?
No. Howie Roseman has a track record of making the best moves and the right moves and putting this team in position to where they can compete for championships. Now, didn't happen last year, but just because it doesn't start the way everybody else's offseason starts and you're losing some of your players. Look, Jalen Phillips, really good player. He didn't produce the sack numbers. Now, the pressure, he gets pressure. Top 4 in pressure, I love what he's able to do. But at that price point, you're not going to pay him that amount of money on that team to be that. When you have other guys on that defensive line that you know you're going to eventually have to pay. Now, Nakobe Dean, injury-riddled, important piece in the locker room, has been effective but not a staple. We don't say, Nakobe Dean, did you see Nakobe Dean? We don't say that when we talk about this Eagles team. Played about 50-something% of the snaps. And now Reed Blankenship, he was a staple on that defense.
Yeah.
Like, he played, there was only 2 players that played more defensive snaps than he. That was Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean. So Reed Blankenship is going to be a tough one to replace. I trust Howie Roseman because of how he's run this organization and because of the pieces that he's brought in and how they've impacted that team.
Howie Roseman deserves the benefit of the doubt.
No question.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we'd all agree on that. There is a point where you can reach a tipping point of just too much lost talent, though. Like, you know, we talk about the Chiefs not paying cornerbacks. Howie Roseman hasn't paid edge rushers, right? So Jalen Phillips got too expensive.
Yep.
Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Bryce Huff. Like he pays guys for like a year or 2, a little amount of money, and then they get comp picks when they leave. Like, they've got a formula there. They paid Zach Bond, they lose Nakobe Dean, they drafted Jahad Campbell to replace him.
Yep.
Like, they definitely have a plan, but when you add up last year's losses after the Super Bowl year with Milton Williams, plus all of these losses, plus the cap situation they're in, like, if they trade A.J. Brown before June 1st, I looked this up today. It's a $72 million cap hit. So we could probably save that topic until June.
That's the thing. It's not going to happen.
It's just not. It's not going to happen if it ever happens. So they're just. These moves are not to make them better today. They're to make their financial position better in the future. Like, no one's going to argue the Eagles are a better football team today.
Well, but I do think, because last year they were arguably the most talented team in the league, certainly one of the handful of most talented teams. So they could lose some talent and still be contender status. And then when you put on there Howie Roseman and you know he's going to make some smart moves, I think they'll have enough talent to be a contender. My question is the culture there. I could see this being a year that it just goes south for them because of the culture, because of it feels, a lot of it's A.J. Brown, who'll probably be back, it looks like. Maybe it falls over this year.
Wow.
But I think the biggest thing for them is what do the other teams in the division do? If Dallas doesn't improve defensively, if Washington, which, presumably will have Jaden Daniels there the whole season, but what if they're not as good as we might expect? And what if the Giants don't take the jump under Harbaugh? Then the Eagles still could be atop the division. But if those 3 teams or a couple of them get as good as some people think, and I think they could make jumps, that's when I think it could be tough for the Eagles.
Okay. Dust, you want to do Tua, or are we standing by? We do not want to do Tua. Tua, I've got lots of stats that say you're still good. Save them. Mike Evans teaming up with Brock and Kyle Shanahan after a 12-year career in Tampa Bay. Greg, his 11-year streak of 1,000-yard seasons ended last year after he missed 9 games. Are you willing to guarantee that he tops 1,000 yards this year?
If Mike Evans stays healthy, he tops 1,000 yards this year. Absolutely. Look, why am I going to doubt him? He's done it his entire year, with the exception of last year getting hurt. Right. He probably would have done it again last year. Like, this guy just knows how to catch the ball, gain yards, put the ball in the end zone, and stay in a position to where he's eclipsing this 1,000-yard mark. And if it were, and again, he's been doing it since, I was in the league, but like 1,000 yards today is not that much of a feat. It's like
because of the game, or like the style of the game.
The style of the game, the way of which we throw the ball now. It's like a lot of guys can get 1,000 yards, but Mike Evans, in that system, having a running game, a lot of his years in Tampa, he never had a running game. It was a passing game, and he still was able to produce. He is going to have a running attack. You are going to have to play the run. You get Mike Evans on the outside in a Kyle Shanahan offense schemed up. You got George Kittle to obviously focus on if you're a defender. Mike Evans is going to get 1,000 yards. Stephon Diggs did it with your Patriots, and a lot of people doubted him. That was coming off of his injury.
I tend to agree with you, and I think he can have a big year for them, particularly in the red zone. Like, I think he has a lot of touchdowns. I would not be surprised if he has double-digit touchdowns. Purdy is very good in the red zone. And I think, obviously Evans is too. My only question about the 1,000 yards, we're assuming health, of course, is they have so many other weapons that Purdy might be throwing to. Now, they won't throw to McCaffrey as much this year because now they'll have better receivers. But McCaffrey's going to get his yardage. Kittle's going to get his yardage. If Pearsall stays healthy, he's a weapon. And Jennings, we'll see if they keep Jawan Jennings, a free agent. But if Jennings is healthy, that's another weapon. So I could just see them spreading the wealth, and maybe that would keep him, even though he might have 900-something yards, but 10 or 11 touchdowns. But I tend to agree with you that I would think he's going to get there.
The comp I would make, and it's kind of sounds like aligned with your thinking, is the season Davante Adams just had. Davante Adams only caught 60 balls. He had like high 700 yards in terms of production. Played in 14 games. So, that accounts for age and maybe missing a couple of games due to injury. But he had 14 touchdowns and led the league in touchdowns. They spread the ball around a lot. They run the ball a lot in a Shanahan system. We looked it up. Like, there's been 7 1,000-yard seasons. 4 of them were to Kittle. One of them was to Debo, kind of a unique Swiss Army knife player. Brandon Ayuk's the only true wide receiver who's had 1,000-yard season.
And he was barely over 1,000.
He did it twice, and but so is he talented enough to do it? Yeah, but something tells me just because of his age and how they'll use him, it'll be more about the red zone.
More more touchdowns.
More touchdowns, short yardage. Use him in that way.
Yeah, look, he's definitely going to get used in the red zone. A lot more fade balls. A little different style of how you use him than Davante. Because Davante's primary usage was because of how he releases off the ball, line of scrimmage. And when you look at that offense, Puka Nacua was going to get the lion's share of the targets, 20 to 20. This, I look at this
he's
different.
The number one, yeah.
Yeah,
Evans is the number one.
Pearsall, I think Pearsall is going to emerge because we saw glimpses of him being a little bit more productive. But somebody's going to have to be the number one guy. It's not going to be Christian McCaffrey again as a receiver, not with Mike Evans, not with Pearsall, and I don't think Jennings will really be in the equation this year. We'll see how that works out. But I just believe Mike Evans, knowing his track record, his resume, Kyle Shanahan will always have something cooked up for him, and this in the back of his mind.
Wow.
If he's healthy, I want to try to get,
Speaking of number one wide receivers, the Patriots just got Romeo Doubs. Greg?
You should like it.
Excellent. More
what?
Oh,
sorry.
Sugar plums.
Can we remind the audience, please?
I forgot about this.
No. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
I forgot about
We have to remind the audience, we have a little debt to settle, please.
If Mike Evans leaves Tampa Bay, I will cook this into a donut and eat it.
Wow.
There's the script that
There
is zero chance. There is zero chance.
Zero chance, huh?
I was just shocked. I
This
thought
is
it
a
was
paper
posturing.
shredder. No.
I thought it was posturing for more money. He loved.
Oh man.
He loved Tampa Bay.
Can I have your script,
Tampa
please?
Bay loved him.
Script, please.
First of all,
First of all, hand me one of those donuts.
hold on one second. This is the Mike Evans script. That's the weird and wonderful script.
Come on now, it's making
Are
a
you
lot of
gonna
noise
do
on
that
TV.
to the donuts?
A lot of noise here on
Waste some
television.
good donuts.
Let's put that in there, official. Thank you very much. So the audience knows we're not cheating this. Thank you. Let's see if I can do this. Thank you. All right. A little salt. Thank you.
Be a man's
Look,
man.
you said you do it.
I'm a gambler. We have to settle our debts on this show. It's only right.
It's just paper, wow.
It's just paper.
Right, it's only paper. And there's goodies underneath that paper. So
Yeah.
enjoy it.
As far as bets go, I'm not thrilled with this. That being said, I've seen some pretty gross bets paid off on it.
Exactly. That's not one of
Having a
them.
little bit of script, let me get a good enough. Mike Evans, I hope you have a great year. I hope you have a sweet and delicious season with the 49ers. Cheers. That was a full script. Honestly shows the power of a donut. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, of course. Of course it's not bad.
I might have another bite.
Yeah.
Might ruin the bit.
Eat the whole
Like I'm not mad at it.
Yo, pass me a script donut.
right, I want some
Pass me a script donut.
One first thing first after the break.
Of course, that's fine.
Live from New York, the show that is finally talking about Drake Maye and some moves that the Patriots made. It's been a while, and the next move will be in June. Just some salary cap stuff with A.J. Brown. June.
So you still have A.J. Brown as a Patriot?
Not happening.
Yes. You don't think it's happening?
Yeah, I don't think it's happening either.
I bought a bunch of those books.
You just told me everything I need to know. I'll save it for my time.
Excellent. Wow. Second hour of First Things First. Today, is Tua the answer for the Falcons? Some very interesting stats about Tua and Atlanta that might make you say, maybe they don't deserve to be projected to be in last place in the division. Meanwhile, Ken Rosenthal with us to talk about WBC. And what's the deal with Scuba with Greg Loves, even though he said, I'm out of here. I gave you some innings and I'm gone. But right now, let's check in on the Super Bowl silver medalists. Added Elijah Vera Tucker to shore up a leaky offensive line, which at times caused Drake Maye to run for his life. And, happening just before the show, Romeo Doubs, 25 years old, some touchdowns last year for the Packers.
That's good.
Feel pretty good. Here are the moves that the Patriots made. Those were Draymond Jones we didn't even talk about from the Ravens. Max Crosby and Draymond Jones to the Patriots. Stephon leaving Garrett Bradbury to the Bears, Tonga to the Chiefs, and Tavai, I don't think he has signed anywhere yet. So, Greg, we'll start with you since you're familiar with Romeo Doubs. How should Drake Maye feel about these moves?
Look, he should be excited about this move. I really like Romeo Doubs. I know a lot of people who watch the Packers play, they won by committee. They didn't have a true number one guy. You obviously Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. We know Matthew Golden, all the guys that they had. But the one guy who was always a constant when available, when he wasn't having one of his head issues, concussion issues, was Romeo Doubs. And he's developed every single year as a better route runner, a better deep ball catcher, a better overall wide receiver. He's great at the line of scrimmage. He shows up in big games. His numbers in the postseason, I think he's averaging like 90 yards a game in the postseason. I think he has either 3 or 4 postseason games. But he's a big-time player. Is he a true number one? We're going to find out.
Wow.
I don't know. I think he has the potential to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot bigger than I think people think. He's about 6'4", like 2. Yeah. He's a lot taller than what people.
I would have hammered the under on
people
that.
think.
I thought it was the Guardian cap.
He's don't let the Guardian cap.
6'4".
Yeah.
Oh,
Romeo
great.
Dobbs,
That's
he's a
great
tall
news.
player, but he can run the entire route tree. I like when you get rid of a guy like Stephon Diggs, you have to bring in somebody that can create separation. When we talk about separators in our league, we think about Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, those type. Romeo Dobbs is right there with them.
Love it.
He separates. When you have a young quarterback and you are asking him to shoulder your offense in support of the run game and everything, you need to have receivers that can separate. If there's one thing Romeo Dobbs can do, he can separate. He understands because he's been in a system and in a unit room that challenges one another. It's not just been about one player, but they all have this appetite to be the one. And so now he'll get the opportunity. We'll see what he does with it. But this is a big move for New England. I like it.
Are they better today?
Yes.
Like today, yes, today they are better because they added Romeo Dobbs. But like if we throw up the addition and subtraction list again from the Super Bowl, like the ads are what they are, but like
obviously you got to get somebody who's going to snap the ball to your quarterback.
that would help, right?
I think Jarrett Wilson's just going to slide over.
He's going to slide over.
He's going to be the center. So I think that was the plan, and that's why Bradbury was available.
But like Diggs was very good, and you would probably sign up for Romeo Dobbs to just give you Stephon Diggs' production from last year. Like you think he's going to be better?
Yeah.
1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. See
Yes.
that's the thing. Like I watched Romeo Dobbs very closely, maybe not quite as closely as you. If the Packers, who have used not the most premium resources historically on wide receiver, but like they invested in Christian Watson, they invested in Romeo Dobbs, they used a first-round pick on Matthew Golden, and they were like, we can afford to let this guy go.
This is what they do. They have all these goods at that position.
Yeah.
And so you have to allow Matthew Golden to get on the field. And so, by default, Romeo Dobbs is the guy that's out.
Listen, I think Dobbs is a good player. I do have questions about whether or not when he's getting the primary focus of a defensive coordinator in the passing game, like we have to stop Romeo Dobbs. I do have questions about whether or not he could be a one. I do think he's a very good red zone guy. He's very aggressive going up and getting the ball. I just think they've lost about as much talent as they've gained.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure that they are a much better team post Super Bowl. But they're in a good cap position. They got a good coach. They have a good quarterback. I just think that they're kind of around neutral right now from where they were post Super Bowl.
Dobbs is a good receiver. I don't think he's a one, Greg. Like, don't you think if he were a one, he would have emerged as the one there in Green Bay? I know they got a bunch of good receivers, but you know what I mean? Like, I think he had that opportunity. And Wilds, what you said about still thinking you're getting A.J. Brown, that tells me everything I need to know. You don't think he's a one. If this is the situation come September, to Danny's point, you're not going to be happy.
It's a little bit of a logical
That's
corner
what I'm saying.
you painted
Like,
me into.
Dobbs is a good addition with Booty, and now if you get an A.J. Brown or another, I just don't think he's a number one. And so that's where I'm at. And Dobbs has done some good things. I'm a little stung because last year the Packers were my pick in the NFC. And it's hard for me to get this out of my mind. It just stung me. It hurt me.
Danny loved it.
I think we got it.
No.
You're on the Sure Hands team.
Now that.
What
yes.
a moment.
The Sure
He
Hands
was talking
team.
about this upstairs. I was like, oh, Patriots got Romeo Dobbs. Like, I don't know. Greg.
I mean, Greg, am I tripping?
I mean, swipe it out of bounds.
What?
Well, but it's easy to catch, though.
It is.
The Sure Hands team.
Look,
Whoops.
that moment, that was a low light.
That killed. Yes.
Yes, it
So
did.
that makes me a little, and I get it, that wasn't even a catch
That
as a
sets
receiver.
the platform
That hurts me.
for what we now know as Iceman.
Yeah. That whole
So you're saying
rally.
it's a lucky play?
That's what is.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about that.
I feel good about everything.
Okay.
I mean,
Feel good about everything.
Well, here's Lamar.
As long as we get AJ.
Lamar. I remember Lamar tweeted that training day, Denzel Washington. So it's like I think that was a Max Crosby. We can't get to the quarterback. We got Max Crosby. Mahomes tweeted some biceps. We can't run the ball. We got Kenneth Walker. Josh Allen doesn't tweet, but I'm sure he's happy DJ Moore arrived. Drake needed protection. Look, if Elijah Vera Tucker is healthy,
right.
we're in business. We need a number one. Stefan's gone. Romeo's in. I would really
As
like
a
A.J.
number
Brown.
one? That's the thing.
I don't have the stats in front of me. Number one, like Justin Jefferson, the Patriots haven't really had that since Randy Moss. Even like throughout all of Josh McDaniels' time, it's a lot of tight ends, slot receivers.
Tom Brady during that time.
Tom Brady's very
Drake
good.
is great. He ain't Tom Brady.
What's the last game you saw Drake in? Besides, he was doing a little clinic in Hawaii.
He's not Tom Brady.
Well, he did go to the Super Bowl in his second year.
All right.
He did go
Gotta get him some better receivers.
If Justin Herbert didn't get an MVP vote, he would be tied for co-MVP. It's Top 10 Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, it's a great day. Free agency edition. Today, it's the top 10 winners of free agency. Teams, players, people, and my favorite, concepts.
Concepts.
I love it. All right, kick us off. Top 10 Tuesday.
Thank you.
I'm here for it.
Kevin Wilds. I'm glad you're here for it, bro. You're not going to go anywhere. Coming in number 10, this one is pretty simple, and we're going to try not to just, count the bag for all of these guys, but Malik Willis. Less than 10 starts in your career, living in Tennessee and Green Bay. You just got $45 million guaranteed to go live in South Beach. Pretty good deal. And your coach and GM thought enough of your limited time in Green Bay. They get the job in Miami. They decide to bring you over. And with the guarantees, you probably have a 2-year runway to prove it because Miami's going to be pretty bad this year. Coming in at number 9, this one pains me. Nick Wright. Guy's in Japan, and he's built fame and fortune off LeBron James and the Chiefs. And his Chiefs, when he's gone, gets Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, and they're still going to be in the cultural zeitgeist because they bring back one of the most famous athletes in the world in Travis Kelce. It's annoying.
Now, will they make the playoffs?
Listen, that's a problem for future Nick Wright. For today in free agency,
I love the B-roll.
It's good B-roll.
I love the B-roll.
Look at all the action. Did he text you those photos?
Yeah,
I
have a much more incriminating video I could have given the production staff. Coming in at number 8, top winners of free agency, Jalen Phillips. My goodness.
Number 8.
Right, you can make an argument that he's higher. Guy got $120 million coming off of 5 sacks. Like 17 games, 5 sacks. You're right, Brew. Like the pressure numbers are there and suggest that he should have much more production. I don't know if he's going to have that production in Carolina, but that guy got paid off of limited production, and the 2 years before that, serious injury questions.
Yes.
He doesn't have one great season ever, and he just got $120 million. Coming in at number 7, this is where concepts comes into play. The Chargers. I feel like I could have put me here, because last year you guys beat me up a lot for my Chargers takes and my Herbert takes. And now I come in on the day 1 of free agency. They didn't even do a lot of things with Addict. And Brew's like, I got them with the Bills and the Ravens as the best team in the AFC. Wild's like, the Chargers are going to be scared.
What were their major moves, though? Because I know
Mike McDaniel.
But it was before. My point is,
And then a healthy line.
we did a free agency show yesterday, and you guys both said in passing almost, we're picking the Chargers in the AFC West. We're a Chargers show, guys. We're a Chargers show.
Well, then Nick shouldn't be on there because that's not good for Nick.
Well, I mean, that's why he was 7, and the Chargers were 7, and Nick 9, whatever he was. Coming in at number 6, this one is easy. Brock Purdy. You got Mike Evans. You got Mike Evans. You got a guy who has 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns basically every year. He is going to elevate you. We talk about all the weapons that he's had. That is a true, legitimate weapon to add the rich getting richer in the arms race of the NFC West. Coming in at number 5, Kyler Murray. Hasn't signed yet, but Minnesota is still available. Minnesota did not make a move for different level. They didn't make a Geno move. Mm-hmm. They didn't make a Tua move. Mm-hmm. Kyler can't really contact teams legally until tomorrow, although legal tampering seems to not really be a thing in the NFL. But the fact that Minnesota is still available and he could step into a top 10 defense, a top 10 play caller, a top 5 wide receiver, and all he has to do is beat out J.J. McCarthy, and it probably wouldn't even be a competition because they would just trade J.J. Kyler Murray has to love how free agency has fallen so far. Coming in at number 4, the box. I didn't think we'd see it for months. And it made a comeback. I mean, that's America's favorite bit. And it made a comeback. I think they overpaid for it. But I didn't think we'd see the box until September at the earliest. And free agency brings us the return of Brew's beloved.
Felt good saying it.
Yeah, no, and everybody loved it. Coming in at number 3, Les Snead. F them picks is just a vibe and a mantra. The guy has used one first-round pick in 8 years, and he hit it out of the park in Jared Verse. Yeah. And they're like, hey, your whole secondary's bad. We need to remake it. He's like, no problem. And he just, in 48 hours, he makes a trade. He gives out the biggest contract ever to a corner. He signs 2 other guys, and he wakes up the next day, and they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Like, everybody tries to build through the draft, and he's like, I just need to retool an entire secondary in 48 hours? No problem. Coming in at number 2, this is back to pocket watching a little bit, I'll admit. Alec Pierce. Man, good year to be a guy who had 47 catches last year.
I'm telling you.
He got $116 million because the Colts said, we went all in on Daniel Jones. We went all in for trading for Sauce Gardner. Then Daniel Jones got hurt, and so we have to justify the move for Daniel Jones. And he was great throwing to Alec Pierce, so we have to bring back Alec Pierce. But 15 other teams wanted Alec Pierce, so
I doubt if the number would have been at 29 a year.
So Greg, he's the 9th highest paid wide receiver in the league right now.
Yeah.
It always feels mean-spirited to say, does he deserve that? But do you view him as the 9th best? No,
and I don't believe that they view him as the 9th best. But given all of what you said,
price of business.
And he fits what they want to display offensively. Now, he has a lot of maturing to do as a total and complete wide receiver. You talk about Romeo Doubs not being a true number 1. We're going to see if Alec Pierce is a true number 1.
So what do you mean by that?
Running the entire route tree, getting the best defender. Like, there's no more Michael Pittman Jr. Obviously, you got Tyler Warren, and you got a great running game. And the system fits who he is as a receiver, but you have to develop your skill set. You have to be able to run slants. He's not a great slant runner. He's not a great intermediate route runner. He's a deeper route runner with play-action game because they obviously utilize who they have in the backfield and Jonathan Taylor. But look, man, I'm not mad at him.
For him.
It's just an unbelievable
I would
year.
have him probably at number 1, to be honest.
The only guy I felt like I could put above him was Fernando Mendoza, who's going to be the number 1 pick to the Raiders. And if you would have said to me 4 months ago, what type of situation is the number 1 pick heading into?
It was all bad.
If they go,
it was all bad.
It was a disaster. And now you look up, they had Genty 4 months ago. Yeah, they had Bauer 4 months ago. But they've hired Clint Kubiak, who, offensive-minded guy, helped Sam Darnold, a play caller, offensive head coach. You go out and you sign Tyler Linderbaum. So now you like Colton Miller at left guard. You love Linderbaum, 3-time Pro Bowler at center. You like Jackson Powers-Johnson at right guard. You like 60% of your offensive line. You like tight end. You like play caller. You like
Jalen Naylor coming in.
You like running back. You like Jalen Naylor. And they have the 14th pick in the trade for Max Crosby to, if they want, go get a right tackle or someone else on offense. Like, it's just.
So let's go. Keep going.
Well, he's not walking into a bad situation anymore.
Let's just do it.
You sound like Nick.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We saw it with Jaden Daniels.
Playoffs in Vegas? Playoffs?
Are you saying
it used to be out of the question, but
it's not out of the question anymore.
It's on the board.
It is on the board. It's not predictions week yet.
I'm not ready to say
Listen,
I don't know if it's on the board.
They can lose 35-28.
In that division?
Right. But the whole goal is if you draft a quarterback number 1, that you're not drafting him into a position where, like, we can't even evaluate him or we're going to fail. It's not a bad situation for him to go into, especially if they use that 14th pick for another player. Like, he's not in as bad of a spot as he was.
That'd be great.
8 wins, yeah.
If he could get him to 8 wins and play well.
Oh yeah.
But Danny's saying playoff.
I'm just saying we're gonna have to talk about it. Like they have invested heavily in the offense.
Hub said 30th worst odds to make the playoffs. He didn't even look that up. As a Raiders fan, he just know.
Oh, listen, they have
one of his tattoos.
They have no talent on defense, and they are going to be doing a first-time head coach at a first.
Something just I got to look it up. Josh, who did the Raiders sign on defense?
Nakobe Dean.
Oh, Nakobe Dean.
Dean.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Quay Walker.
Yep, they got Quay
They got
Walker.
some. Okay, so they have some linebackers, but
look, I'm not mad at it.
it's just Fernando Mendoza's position today is a lot better than it was 48 hours ago.
Okay.
He's in a pretty good spot.
Greg, are you adding anybody?
Yeah, honorable mention for me. And this team, they lost a lot, but the New York Giants, and I'm starting all the way when the coaching hire. John Harbaugh, obviously you lose Wan'Dale Robinson, which would have been nice to be able to hold on to him, but you add Isaiah Likely, another pass catcher, a tight end. You gotta love that. And then you lose your corner and Flott, your young corner, and Cordell Flott, but you then bring in Greg Newsome. So what you lose, you ended up getting and retrieving. And when you look at this young offense now, you're like, man, Malik Neighbors healthy. We got a good tight end. We got a running game that we can kind of support our running back. We got the head coach in position. We're bolstering up our defense a bit. Like Tremaine, they got your guy from Chicago, a veteran guy, inside backer, Tremaine Edmonds. Like they are putting strategic pieces together so that they can be ready to roll when the season hits. And we'll see what they do with the draft. But I like what the New York Giants are doing.
No, I agree with that. I'm going to add a guy I hate to lose, but Tyler Linderbaum. 3 years, $81 million. As good as Linderbaum is, I don't think he's as good as Creed Humphrey. And Humphrey was making $18 million a year. Linderbaum is making $27 million a year. That jump, $9 million a year at that position, good for him.
$27 million a year at 25 years old to live in Vegas. But is he happy, you know?
Again, situation, got a young quarterback. You kind of want to have him have some support. You got to get him
all the offense, all that stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
This episode is brought to you by Venmo. With the Venmo debit card, a taco in one hand, and ordering a ride in the other means you're stacking your rewards. Nice. Get up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on your favorite brands when you pay with your Venmo debit card. Pick a bundle with your go-tos and start earning cash back. Do more stash, get more cash. Visit Venmo.com to learn more. Venmo Stash Bundle terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Max $100 cash back per month.
Welcome back to First Things First, talking World Baseball Classic. Team USA defeats Mexico 5-3. USA now undefeated. Play Italy in the Pasquatch and his espresso tonight. Joining us now to discuss everything is Ken Rosenthal. Ken, thanks for joining me and us.
We're here too.
Well, I'm sorry, because you guys have been making fun of me because I'm a Red Sox fan, but I got made fun of online because as soon as Aaron Judge hit the home run, I used the all rise gif, and then Roman Anthony did it. So Danny is making fun of me, saying I'm not allowed to be a Roman Anthony and an Aaron Judge fan. I'm saying I get a pass because it's Team USA, and it's part of one of the great parts of the World Baseball Classic.
Okay, I'll give you a pass, too.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
I didn't know that was a question.
You're like, right.
I think the question is the camaraderie of the team, of all these different guys, rivals, kind of joining all together. What have you make of that?
There's no question that is occurring, and it's been a big part of actually what the manager, Mark DeRosa, wanted to achieve with this team beyond the performance on the field. He wanted a band of brothers, and he put the team together not just because he had these all best players, but also because he wanted them to have a certain chemistry, a certain character to them. They've been talking with each other after games, during games, before games, going out to dinners with each other, and they have formed in a very short amount of time this close bond. And I don't know that translates to on-field performance, but there's definitely something going on there. And they seem to be playing for a higher cause. They are absolutely into the fact that they're playing for the country.
Yeah, you can feel it, Ken, and it really feels like they want to win this one, where some of them in the past have just feel like, okay, we'll show up, it's an exhibition. But to that situation, the pitching situation where, Scooble won't be pitching again. Do you see that changing maybe over time where we will not limit our pitchers? Because that seems to be the one thing that can hold us back if we can't throw our best pitchers as much as we want to.
Well, there are always going to be pitcher limits as long as this event is held in spring training. And those limits are not set by the U.S., they're set by the tournament themselves. It's a 65-pitch limit for this first round. What Scooble ran into was more a scheduling issue. As he's getting ready for the season, his free agent season, in a year in which he could end up making $400 million, he wanted to stay on a certain routine, and he couldn't make it work pitching once where it all balanced out. He could pitch in the final then for USA and then opening day. He just could not do the math or make the math work for him. Now, in the future, a guy like that, and we might not see a guy like that even participate in the WBC again for the U.S., but in the future, a guy like Scooble would think to himself, you know what? I want to be part of this the whole time. I want to pitch twice instead of once. There are only 7 games. He wasn't going to pitch more than twice. And perhaps he would set his schedule from the start differently.
Yeah. Ken, the lineups feels overwhelming. They're obviously the favorites. Is there a flaw on Team USA?
I don't know that there's a flaw, but I don't know that I would say that they're the favorites either. Wow. If you look at the Dominican lineup, it is every bit as strong as Team USA's. We're talking about Tatis, Guerrero, Machado, on and on and on. Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few as well. So that is a very talented group. Oh, I know who I'm forgetting. Juan Soto, that guy.
He's pretty good.
So they're pretty good. And Japan is really good as well. We've seen that already. They won their group rather easily. So I don't know that I would say USA is the favorite, but I would say this. This is the best USA team we've seen in the 6 classics, and that includes the 2017 team that won the gold medal, and it also includes the 2023 team that came really close with, of course, Ohtani striking out Trout for the final out.
They were teammates at the time, or was Ohtani still on the Angels at that
Yes.
time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So speaking of teammates, last night Cal and Randy Arozarena, and this has happened a few times in the tournament. What do you make of the handshake that wasn't?
I don't make much of it, and Cal Raleigh just spoke at the ballpark to Bob Nightingale of USA Today and said there's no beef, there's no problem. Basically what this is a guy, Raleigh, in the heat of competition, wanting to stay locked in. That's what he said. We saw that earlier in the tournament with an Australian catcher doing the same thing with a Czech player, and we've seen it in the past. Will Smith and Arozarena in 2023. So these guys are teammates. I don't know that anyone in the sport has ever said a bad word about Cal Raleigh, and I know Arozarena said some things last night. I haven't talked to Arozarena about that. I half think it was in jest, but at the same time, from Raleigh's perspective at least, there is no problem.
Do you expect, Italy tonight, and despite, Vinny Pasquantino, he's our guy, Pasquatch, but do you expect a blowout by Team USA tonight?
I don't know that I would say I expect that. And if you've watched these games, even against Brazil and Great Britain, they kind of had a hard time getting going, or at times a hard time getting runs home. Now, they erupted in both those games. And then in last night's game, they got 5 early, but they didn't get any more. So it's not fait accompli. At the same time, they should win. They've got Nolan McLean, a great rookie for the New York Mets, pitching tonight. They're facing an Italy team with not just Pasquantino, but Jacob Marcia of the Marlins, a guy who is emerging as a star. They've got some interesting young players as well, and they've got Michael Lorenzen on the mound tonight. So I wouldn't discount the possibility of an upset, but I'm not expecting it either.
Ken, I loved your piece on Bobby Witt. Kind of a sneaky MVP of last night's game, if they were giving out MVPs of individual games here. He's already a star, obviously, so I don't know if you could say like he could be a breakout star, but I'm curious like if you see him or anyone else using this to kind of catapult into this upcoming baseball season.
I actually would say in some respects Bobby Witt is a breakout star because I don't know that the average fan on the coasts is too familiar with his game. He plays in the AL Central in Kansas City, and even though he was second in the AL MVP voting 2 years ago, 4th last year, he's not necessarily the same kind of household name as, say, Aaron Judge or Ohtani. But if you talk to players about him, if you saw my post-game interview with Judge last night, the respect that they have for him is at the same level as the respect they have for those elite players in the game. He does it all. You see the defensive plays there. He obviously did some things offensively last night, 2 doubles, stolen base. He is a guy that is just a brilliant talent, only 25 years old. And yes, I expect his star to continue to rise. And the other guy I would put into this category is Roman Anthony. We didn't see much of him last year. He played less than 80 games, but he's played really well so far in the Classic. He's 21 years old, and he's going to be a big star too.
I love it. Final thoughts on the best player in the world. And Brew, you say he's the best player of all time. We're running out of adjectives to talk about Ohtani. He gets up with the bases loaded, gone, had another home run in, I think, the second game. Has Ohtani surprised you? Is that even possible?
I wouldn't say it's possible at this point. And there is no bar for this guy. There are no limits for him. And when we put limits on him or imagine limits for him, he exceeds them. So whatever Shohei Ohtani does, yes, it might be surprising in the moment. Of course, you don't always expect the things that he does. But at the same time, when you step back, you look at what he has accomplished in his career, both as a pitcher and a hitter, you can't ever be surprised. This guy is the best player of this generation, and yes, maybe of all time. So in the Classic, he's not going to pitch. That's a little bit different, right, than last time around. But my goodness, with the bat, who knows what havoc he might wreak.
I hope he just decides to pitch. Just on a whim. Italy versus Team USA tonight at 9 on FS1. Ken, have a great game. Thank you as always.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ken.
More First Things First right after the break.
TaxAct understands you haven't memorized the tax code. That's why TaxAct has live experts to help. TaxAct can even do it for you if you prefer. It's the easiest way to know you're doing it right. Well, other than going back to college and obtaining a bachelor's degree in accounting with a minor in finance, then interning somewhere and becoming fluent in all tax forms. But that might be hard to accomplish before tax day. So maybe just stick with TaxAct. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Head down to Atlanta, where Tua signs a 1-year deal to join fellow lefty Michael Penix in the QB room. Greg, we've seen some highs and we've seen some lows from Tua. Who should be QB1 in Atlanta?
Look, Michael Penix Jr., if he's able to get healthy, come back off this injury, off this partial ACL tear, and be healthy and execute, they're going to give him the runway. Like, they won a competition. I'm with you there. One of the reasons, if you're Tua, that made this a very attractive destination is because their starting quarterback is injured, and I have an opportunity to potentially get a head start in the offseason and get all the reps with the ones, if you will. And so I think Tua will have a head start, as I mentioned, but Michael Penix Jr., so I do these bodybuilding competitions.
We know.
Yes.
And I always watch when I'm not on stage, there's smaller guys and then there's bigger guys. And a smaller guy is easier to look really good and symmetrical on stage. And it's impressive. But you want to know what's more impressive? The bigger guy. When he looks that's Penix Jr. When he gets on the field and he starts throwing the ball, it's going to look a little different. He has the bigger arm. I know accuracy was an issue last year. Like, he has growing to do, but that's why you got Stefanski. You're paying Stefanski to solve either one of these quarterbacks. And so if he's that guy that we believe he is, or they believe he is, then be the answer to what Michael Penix needs to unlock his talent to get him to perform at the higher level.
So I agree that, like, if I was running the team, I would want it to be Penix because I think he represents a higher ceiling. The bigger guy with a bigger arm, right? Just the pure traits of it. But this is going to be, I think, a good old-fashioned quarterback competition. You have a new GM who didn't draft Michael Penix. Like, we're going to say, well, Michael Penix was a first-round pick of the Falcons. So? Matt Ryan wasn't there. Ian Cunningham wasn't there. Kevin Stefanski wasn't there. They haven't paid him anything. They haven't even decided on a 5th-year option for him. Like, Michael Penix has started 12 of the possible, 30, how I can do the math, 12 of 34 games that he started 12 of them. And in 6 of those 12, he's completed less than 60% of his passes. So he hasn't been that good. Tua, they're paying him nothing. And he can't stay healthy. And he has a weak arm, and he can't see over the offensive line, and he has a serious concussion history. Well, Michael Penix has a serious ACL history. Like, there's a really good chance that neither of these guys
is true.
Is healthy for a full season, or is the long-term answer for Kevin Stefanski and the Falcons. Like, the odds are, and this isn't maybe the sexiest take, but the odds are this is a competition, and we see both of them this year because neither one of them is all that impressive. But I do think the traits of Penix, just pure arm strength and size, the Falcons would see him as representing a higher ceiling than Tua. But like, both of these guys have huge question marks attached.
I agree with you that anyone interested in the Falcons would probably prefer that Penix be the guy and that he just wins the competition and is their starting quarterback going forward. But I think Tua's the better quarterback. Tua has been, Michael, and I get it, he's young, or he's early in his career. It's a small sample size. But in his 2 seasons, Penix is 4-8. With Kirk Cousins, who obviously was a good quarterback, they're 12-10. That's not to mention Penix is below 60% accuracy or completion percentage. Like, Tua has been a winner. I know I joke, but it's true. He hasn't beaten the good teams consistently, hasn't won in cold weather. But Tua's 44-32 for his career. All right, and that predates Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, all of that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Same thing.
Because I don't know if Penix will ever reach the heights as low as they are to compared to some people. That Penix or that Tua's already reached.
Tua's 44-32. Joe Burrow is 43-33. So this idea that you can't win with Tua, and I know he's not Joe Burrow, but the guy has gotten onto the field and left the game winning. The guy wins.
Not
in
the greatest situation as far as an organization.
I love Tua, and I root for Michael Penix. I'm all in on the Tua reclamation project.
Tua's accurate. That's a big.
There's
a big
the
gap
league in completion
the accuracy between these two.
This is all true, but when you sign up for Tua, which they have signed up for Tua in some regard, and you say he's our starter, everything needs to be on schedule and on time.
Right.
If it's not, your offense is going to look completely different. If you disrupt him, get him outside off his spot and outside those tackles, game, set, match. You can't continue.
You think that's like
think
a
about
non-starter? Kevin
Stefanski has been in this quarterback carousel forever, since being a head coach. You think he's wanting to do this all over again? No. So naturally, you've seen he's gonna watch extensive tape on Tua. He has more obviously tape on Tua, so he kind of knows what he is. The exciting thing is probably what Penix could potentially be.
Agreed.
So you're going to invest a lot more of your time in that.
The other thing is Tua even as good as he used to be since the concussion? And if I'm Stefanski, I'm like, can I get him back to kind of that, 2 years ago in 2023 when he led the league in yards?
Wilds is the Tua guy.
Live from New York, first things first, overtime. Kyler Murray and the Vikings. How optimistic is Greg Jennings with one of his favorite teams, also one of Greg's alumni teams? I don't really talk about it too much.
You don't.
Shout out to Christian Ponder, though. Meanwhile, what does getting Max Crosby mean for Lamar? And finally, should the Eagles fans be a little bit worried as talent leaves the building and not a ton of guys are coming in? Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wilds, Danny Parkins, Greg Jennings. Greg, are you at all concerned about the Eagles?
I'm not. I trust the process. Howie Roseman has seemingly gotten things right in the past.
In Howie we trust?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. A little boring.
I guess so. I mean, it's
based in history.
It has worked.
You lost Jahan Dotson. You guys worried about that?
No, that would be pretty far down. How's
the Dusty was super stressed about John Dotson. I'm like, Dusty, I don't think he's ever talked about John Dotson.
Yeah, all of a sudden he loves it.
Yeah, of course.
Little callback. How's the script donut sitting with you? You ate your script earlier.
You know what? The script donuts are outside. I had to eat a donut with little pieces of the script that I wrote for Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And they were just sitting out there because I don't know why.
You ate them?
I thought about eating it just privately.
Just having more
just
on
more
my
scripts
own.
Yeah, so it wasn't much of a...
The script didn't bother you at all?
No. It was well written.
Good job by you.
We're headed to Arizona/Minnesota. Kyler's not allowed to talk to other teams until Wednesday, but we've seen some quarterbacks already find some landing spots. Geno's with the Jets. Tua is with the Falcons. Vikings, nothing's going on. Or is there? Next team odds. Kyler's a heavy favorite to go to Minnesota. Greg, how scary are the Vikings if Kyler lands in Minnesota?
This would make them a playoff potential team, for sure. Like with Kyler Murray in that building, with that talent that they already possess and have on offense, with that defense that we know is locked and loaded, yeah, you have to respect the run. You have to respect him if he turns and he looks like he's handing it off and he has any sense to pull it and just scatter with. It just gives you a completely different question of how you approach this offense. Knowing you have Addison, Jets on the outside, you already have that. If they get any semblance of a running game and get a running back in there that's going to run the ball and pose them as a threat to run the ball.
When Kyler helps your run game, like you're talking about, just his presence historically has helped running backs.
It changes everything on how you approach this team offensive or defensively. But Kyler Murray, obviously, he's a step up, a few steps up than J.J. McCarthy and where he is. I just don't see J.J. making the jump to even being where Kyler is at this current place and where he is in his career.
I think they're incredibly scary. Like, I don't know, it's not time yet to make predictions and all of that in terms of worst to first and Super Bowls and championships, but it's just an unbelievable fit for Kyler.
Sneaky, they were not the worst team.
They won 9 games.
Detroit was in last place.
Yeah, Detroit ended up finishing in last place. That is true. But in terms, that's an excellent point. But they are just, if you're Kyler Murray, I got to imagine he cannot believe how fortunate he is. Like, you leave Arizona, he talks about like the failure that he felt there, even though he got the second contract and he'd been to the playoffs, but so I felt like he let him down
once.
Right? No,
7 years.
Yeah, just once. And so I understand why, but he looks around, and you mentioned the defense. They have a championship caliber defense.
No doubt about it.
Brian Flores cannot get a job head coaching in the NFL for reasons explainable and otherwise. That's what their defense has been over a 3-year sample since he's been there. So it is a Super Bowl caliber defense the moment Kyler Murray walks in. And we don't have to be like that old to remember what it looked like in Minnesota when they just got anything from the offense. If we, like the last 2 years, we put their offensive numbers side by side. Like when they had the 9th best offense in football, they won 14 games. So is Kyler Murray the 9th best quarterback? No. But with Jefferson, with Addison, in a dome, with
T.J. Hawkinson,
with O'Connell calling the plays, who's gotten a lot out of Darnold, who got a lot out of Kirk Cousins, like there's a very, very high ceiling in Minnesota if Kyler goes there.
I agree with you guys, and I'm like with Greg, they would definitely be in a very tough division, a playoff contender. I mean, who would be the odd team out if there's only one, or maybe there'd be two?
That's what I want to know.
That would be, well, it might be Detroit if it goes well in Minnesota, or it could be Green Bay. Like, it could be any of them. I mean, honestly, if he clicks,
it could be Chicago.
Right? No, if he clicks there, it could. Like, all those teams are good. But the point is this: I'm interested. I love the fit for all that Minnesota has, and Kyler now has all this talent around him. However, he's a playmaker, and O'Connell has won. It's been, paint by numbers, just be on schedule, do what I want done. And so you would think Kyler's been humbled enough to just let the system work for you rather than just wanting to make plays. And for O'Connell, does he incorporate enough room for Kyler to be himself and when it calls for it to make plays? So I think it's a great fit as far as the talent around him. I don't think it's not like Darnold is a guy that was just going to do what he was, the offense told him to do. Kyler likes to make plays on his own. So I think I'd be interested in seeing how they kind of find that happy medium, because I think that's what you want to do to maximize Kyler's potential.
Well, yeah, that falls on, obviously, your play caller, who in this case happens to be your head coach, and Kevin O'Connell. But a lot of this would fall on Kyler Murray.
To accept.
That part. Because early in his career, we saw him as an electric quarterback because of what he can do outside the pocket with his legs, and he didn't want any part of that. He's like, I want to be seen and viewed and known as a pocket passing guy. So you would, from those sentiments that he has shared and expressed, you would believe or think you would hope to believe that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to just run the system and incorporate who I am. Because Kevin O'Connell isn't going to say, I don't want you to be Kyler Murray. No, that's what makes you special. Like he would preferred, he wanted Kirk Cousins to use his legs more. Like even Sam Darnold, but that's just not what they leaned into. Naturally, Kyler Murray would lean into that, and so you benefit. The team gets better. The team has success when you are Kyler Murray. Right. And what separates you from everyone else is what you can do and provide with your legs.
This is also one of those stories that's just like why the NFL's the best. Like they missed the playoffs last year. They had traded up for J.J. McCarthy. That was polarizing. They move on from Sam Darnold. That was crushed. And they could fall into a former number 1 overall pick who's one of the most talented athletes to come into the league, with questions about work ethic, with questions about fit and playing on schedule, with questions about size. So like that, but that only adds to the intrigue. And it's like, it might bust. There are definitely, there's a negative.
But we would all be locked in.
Yeah, it's also, one of the craziest athletes in the league with one of the strongest arms gets to go. Justin Jefferson was talking to you guys a month ago, being like, oh, of course I'm still the best receiver in football. I've just had quarterback issues. He wouldn't have a talent issue or an arm issue with this quarterback. They would probably trade J.J. McCarthy.
So that's what I wanted. Like, what's the market for JJ? Right, or is there a chance they Jordan Love him, where it's like Kyler's in now, you need more?
Yeah, I don't know that you have to. I mean, I don't know that you have to trade him. You just sit him and hope he learns something.
You'd be trading at a very low value.
Selling very low. But I don't know that Kyler signs. I don't think Kyler signs up for a competition.
No. Kyler starts.
No, and even if he did, he would win it.
Yeah, I agree.
But as far as JJ goes, yes, he's never been in a situation where he can truly sit and learn, because even the year that Sam Darnold had the breakout year a couple years, or last year, 2 years ago.
Now 2 years ago.
He was hurt, so he couldn't get on the field. He couldn't take the reps and mimic what he was seeing. He had to be a student of the game. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he really approached that the right way. And this would be one of those moments where if Kyler were to come in, you're on the roster. If he wins the job, which I believe we all agree, he would win the job. Even if they said it was a competition, he wins the job. If you don't take this opportunity to study and learn and improve, both as a mental approach and physically, when you get the practice reps, then it's really telling if that's the case. But he's not going to beat out Kyler Murray if the Vikings go and get.
Any pressure on Kevin O'Connell?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I know he's
yes.
I don't know,
brilliant.
man.
Because
different quarterback every year.
I understand
guys who've had career years with him.
When you get rid of your general manager, and it's like, yes, and they spend the money the way they did, they were shooting for a team that was going to be a contender. They didn't make the right call as it pertains to the quarterback position. Now we bring in Kyler Murray, and we feel like, he has the talent. We have to see the productivity out of that. The next piece that's going to be removed is definitely going to be your head coach.
Okay, listen,
somebody else might jump and grab him right away.
I think 10 teams would hire Kevin O'Connell tomorrow.
Stefanski.
Yeah.
Kind of like Stefanski. I definitely believe it would be a hot market for Kevin O'Connell, but he's the next thing that gets unplugged.
Yeah, we saw a little Sean McDermott. Remember, it's like Sean McDermott's trying to DC's gone, switch the OCs. Like, buddy, you're next in line.
Sure.
And Brandon Beane's like, well, no, I'm looking around.
Kyler Murray's a great backup plan, though. Yeah. Like you thought you were stuck with J.J. McCarthy. Yeah. Now you get Kyler Murray. It's pretty good.
Top 10 Tuesday. We did top 10 winners earlier in the show. Now it's time for top 10 duds of free agencies, people, teams, concepts.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, people's teams.
And we're not allowed to say losers.
People's teams and
teams. And
I've heard on this show it's a rich tapestry.
Yeah, that's for
we'll
sure.
Apply that. So coming in at number 10, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Baker Mayfield. Even if I supported not giving Mike Evans that contract and reallocating resources from offense to defense, Baker has still thrown 27 touchdowns to Mike Evans since he's been a Buck. The next most is 9. So I like Ibuka a lot. But this is going to be a significant adjustment for Baker, for Bucs fans, for the city of Tampa. Like, he's been an institution there. So Baker Mayfield, a dud of this free agent class. Coming in at number 9, Vic Fangio. Maybe the best defensive coordinator in football. Still has a ton of talent. Jalen Carter, Davis, Campbell, Bond, Cooper DeJean. But when you lose Blankenship, your captain, you lose Nakobe Dean, you lose Jalen Phillips, and last year you lose Milton Williams. Like, at some point, the dam breaks on how much talent you've lost on that side of the ball. Still have a lot of talent there, but you are going to be asked to do more with less. And as Greg said earlier, in Howie Roseman we trust. Coming in at number 8, Michael Penix Jr. Even though I think he would win a competition with Tua, it's a new coach, it's a new GM, it's a new president of football operations, so none of the infrastructure that drafted you with a first-round pick is there. They clearly either had questions about your talent or your ability to stay healthy that they rushed to sign Tua and bring him in. Tua's going to get all the offseason reps as you recovered, and you've played in 12 games, and in 6 of them you've completed less than 60% of your passes. So it's not like you've shown a ton that you're going to be the guy. He all of a sudden in year 3 finds himself smack dab in the middle of a good old-fashioned quarterback competition. Coming in at number 7, my friend and our leader, Kevin Wildes.
What did I do?
Now
here's Romeo Doubs.
You got Romeo Doubs.
That's why you're.
He's 6'4".
I heard he was 6'4". You lose Bradbury, you lose Tonga, you lose Stephon Diggs, but that's all on the peripheral. You know who hasn't signed? Trey Hendrickson. Which means Trey Hendrickson is still a story. Which means it's still a topic. Which means we still get to debate Trey Hendrickson on the show call every day, which is Wildes' least favorite part of the day.
We've done a tremendous amount of stories on Trey Hendrickson, and he is still on the Bengals, or maybe not, but he's still, I don't know.
Limbo, right?
Still out there.
He could be a Patriot. He's still out there.
We've been doing it for 2 years now.
So it's still a conversational topic, which drives Wildes crazy.
I would love to have Trey Hendrickson on the show. It'd be like seeing a huge celebrity.
Yeah, let's get him on. Coming in at number 6, similar logic to number 9, Steve Spagnuolo. I know the argument out of Kansas City is, well, we just develop corners. That is not easy to do. Like they have lost a tremendous amount of secondary talent this free agency. Lots of the Rams. One of the best organizations in football is like, oh, you want to give us Trent McDuffie? We'll make him the highest paid corner in football history. Of the returning players on the Chiefs depth chart right now in their secondary, they have 9 total starts. Like it's just, there's not a lot of experience there in Kansas City, so Steve Spagnuolo is going to be asked to do a lot with a little. Coming in at number 5, Aaron Rodgers. Apparently he's got no new contract. I listened to him on McAfee, and he's like, there's no contract in front of me. I got nothing to sign with. They go out and get Michael Pittman Jr. I don't love Pittman as a player. Don't love him as a fit next to DK Metcalf. I don't think Minnesota's about to call for Aaron Rodgers, so it's either retirement or Pittsburgh, but apparently they're not calling, and I don't think there's enough reinforcements coming for them. They're spending a ton of money at the receiver room, but not getting a lot of production. Number 4, Jerry Jones. Where's the splash, Jerry? Jalen Thompson for $33 million as a safety. Nice player, but you said you were going to break the budget. This is the biggest contract he's given out since Brandon Carr back in 2012. They missed out on Max Crosby. They haven't spent at the top of the market.
Trey Hendrickson's calling.
Flashback to number 7, Trey Hendrickson. Maybe he goes in there. Now, I got to be honest. I'm going to put Wilds on the list at number 7. This one pains me a little bit. I'm coming in at number 3, putting myself on the list. Listen, the Bears' free agency's been fine. Kobe Bryant, nice player, but it means they're going to lose Byard. It means they're going to lose Brisker. I got serious questions about the Bears, and I'm trying to make this whole national TV thing work. And I'm not saying I need the Bears, but they've won the offseason the last few years. The Bryce Young trade, the Caleb Williams selection, the Ben Johnson hire. They've been the offseason champs 3 years in a row.
Yeah, now it's just like maybe Ben Johnson takes his shirt off at a Blackhawks game.
Right, like if this is going to be it was a Bulls game. If this is going to be I'm locked in on that beat. If this is going to be a quiet Bears offseason, I don't love that. Yeah. For me personally, I got to be honest. Coming in at number 2, LeBron James. Nick's real biased. Okay, I don't like Nick's bias with why he's putting Michael Jordan on the list. LeBron, real dud of this free agent class, he's a Browns fan. Big yikes for the Browns. Titus Howard at $45 million. Zion Johnson at $49 million. Zion Johnson, former Charger. That offensive line wasn't good. $49 million. I don't like that at all. And his other team is the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is already on the dud list. Tough free agency period.
The dud list is.
Oh, the dud list is coming up. These are the top 10 duds of free agency.
It is a list.
It's a list of duds.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's complicated. And coming in at number 1, Lamar Jackson. Okay. Time's yours, Lamar. You have a new head coach. You have a new pass rusher. You're number 1 on number 1 Raven fan Chris Broussard's S.B.o.B list. And you were supposed to perform at an MVP level. You're coming off the year where you just got sacked more than you've ever been sacked before in terms of sack percentage, and you just lost a 3-year consecutive Pro Bowler at center and Isaiah Likely. Max Crosby makes you better. I like the hire at coach, but for you specifically, pressure's on. Tough free agency period for Lamar Jackson. Brew, I assume, perfect, not dud list?
Not bad. Not bad. And Wilds are like this. The one guy I would add, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, seriously though, Trey Hendrickson is a obviously very good player. I wonder, you just hear the reports he's asking for some astronomical amount of money. We just saw Jalen Phillips get $30 million a year. We just saw Daniil Hunter get $40 million a year. Does Trey, I'm just throwing it out there, does he have an inflated idea of his value? Teams obviously didn't pounce on him. Now the Cowboys are still there. I mean, they've even done a few things, but I just wonder what is going to happen. And is he going to get hurt in a situation where a lot of the money is spent and some of the teams that needed that position or wanted that position have already gotten somebody, whether it was for more or for lesser? I just wonder what in the world is going on. This feels like what has happened with him in Cincinnati is now happening with him in the whole league. So I don't know. I hope he gets his money. I didn't like the way they did him in Cincinnati, but this is odd.
I think he's going to go to Tampa, but yeah, he probably will be one of those guys that for a bunch of that is just perennially disappointed with the long-term contract and the long-term guarantees. Probably have to sign a shorter deal than he would like.
Look, I think the dud list or the top 10
duds of free agency
is pretty good. Spags, I would actually move up.
Really?
I would move because of what they lost. A large part of what makes his defenses work, and again, he's been brilliant. But when he can dial up that blitz and you still have a Jalen Watson, a Trent McDuffie that can man up, and Brian Cooks in the back end that has been solid for you back there, you trust the communication isn't going to break down. We will have exactly what we need to cover us. You don't have that anymore. And I know you had a signing for safety and you got a D tackle, but where's your secondary? Where's your corners that are going to be the Trent McDuffie, that are going to even be the Jalen Watson? Like, this defense is going to look drastically different when you are asking your corners to blitz the way that McDuffie can come off the corner and edge and wreak havoc and then cover the way that they do at the same time. That is not easy to replace. And so it'll be interesting to see how they recover from those losses because, I mean, it's your entire secondary.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Literally.
Yeah, their entire secondary. He's amazing. He's maybe the best defensive coordinator in football, but a lot of question marks.
Excellent top 10 dud list.
Thank you.
Not
I
bad.
thought it was excellent. All right, coming up next on First Things First Overtime, Willie Colon joins the show. Talk about how dangerous the Steelers can be. And is Aaron Rodgers going to be under center? That's next.
It's home with another 2-2. It's fouled into the glove for strike 3. He starts this game with a strikeout. He gets Kirk. Back-to-back Ks. 8th pitch to Gonzalez. The 3-2 to Rosarena, and he strikes him out on the outside corner. As advertised.
So that's 4 innings from Paul Skeens. Just a clean 7 strikeouts, Willie. No big deal. I don't know if you've ever seen the Twitter account Pitching Ninja, where they do the overlay of the pitches and show where the ball ends up. His with his 4-seam fastball, changeup, and sinker, where it all comes from the exact same release point, but one ends up down here, one ends up here, and one's up here, and they're going 97, 99, 92. He's the best pitcher in the world. He's ridiculous.
Like they called it, he was as advertised. I think for anybody that watched that game, after the 3rd inning, things got a little shaky for USA. And I was worried. I mean, even Mexico, you had the manager, I forgot his name, escapes me, it was like, if we see them again, we got them. So if USA.
Tough talking a loss.
Yeah, you came out of this game, but it was a shaky one, nevertheless.
Yeah, he is a bad man, but because of the pitch count, right, can't just ride him the whole way, and the Pirates would be pretty upset about that as well. But check out the game tonight against Italy on FS1. Let's go to Pittsburgh. All right, so the Steelers got Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts, late-round pick swap, not a huge commitment there, but then they gave him a 3-year, $59 million deal. Pittman last year had 784 yards with 7 touchdowns. Of course, there's always the tie-in to if this is something that Aaron Rodgers would want, how it's going to impact his potential return. It's Willie's team, but Greg's position. Greg, we'll start with you. I'm thinking you maybe have some strong Michael Pittman feelings here. How dangerous do you perceive Pittman to be with Rodgers and the Steelers?
I don't think they're dangerous at all.
Okay.
I don't like the combo of Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf. When you look at if Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback and knowing he has to get the ball out of his hands right away, Michael Pittman Jr. is not a yak guy, meaning get the ball in his hands quick and then he makes something happen. DK can do it because he plays bully ball. He can beat you up at the line. Neither one of them are great releasing off the line of scrimmage. Yes, he's a possession guy, more of a deep threat 50-50 guy. Obviously, DK is a lot faster. He provides you the same thing. I'm accustomed, and Willie, you can speak a little bit more to this.
Sure,
but from a receiver standpoint, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've always viewed them as one of those teams that evaluates the receiver position very well. They've always found a way to find a diamond in the rough. And not necessarily even a diamond in the rough, like Santonio Holmes years back, and then Antonio Brown, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, like those types of receivers that can do everything, that has the speed, that can run the complete route tree, that if you ask them to catch and go with the ball, they can do all of those things. I just don't see that with the acquisition of Michael Pittman, like he provides you something, but I don't see the value and how it can directly impact and add to the problems that they had last year.
Well, it was a calculated move, right? It was a late round swap. He's 28 years old. Yeah, his best years may be behind him. I think 2 years ago he was that guy. I don't think he's that guy, but he's a legit number 2 in which you need in a Steeler offense. And I also think if you're Aaron Rodgers right now, you just needed adults you can rely on, right? You needed DK. You have a solid number 2 in him. You needed somebody on Sunday you can rely on and show up. He is a possession receiver. I get that. But I think if you're the Steelers right now, you realize even with Aaron Rodgers in the offense and Valley, he elevated the offense, it wasn't enough, right? You need pieces to win with. And they still have a lot of room to make work. So going to the draft, you can draft. There's still some key pieces out in free agency you can win with. I think it was just a peg that they felt like they needed to add to this offense. I don't say bring in Aaron Rodgers, but I think they could build upon. I mean, his age enough is a win for them.
So they clearly needed something.
Yeah.
Right. Like they needed another pass catcher, and this is another pass catcher who is an NFL caliber player. I tend to agree with Greg in terms of the fit, but also, and this is maybe just because I could not play offensive line in the NFL. Sure. Or could not get. I also I think more about the sport through like the general manager lens, and they're not getting great return on investment for what they're spending.
Yeah.
And I understand the cap is going up, and I understand supply and demand. There were not a lot of receivers here, but in terms of spending on wide receivers, which one of these teams doesn't belong? Because those are the top 3 spenders against the cap this upcoming year at wide receiver. And if we were going to do a conversation of like, what's the best wide receiver duo in the NFL?
The middle team, the Steelers would not be in that conversation.
But Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is in the conversation and maybe the answer.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens would be in the conversation and maybe the answer. Steelers wide receivers last year, 29th in yards, 31st in catches, 30th in targets. Now I understand that's last year's production, and now I'm talking about next year's spending, and Pittman wasn't there for last year. But it's just, I don't see a world where DK and Pittman produce anywhere near the level at which they are spending and paying them to produce.
Well, see, I disagree. It's a win. You're paying Pittman, what, $24 million? I mean, that's a win in their eyes, and they're going to extend him, right? So for me, he's a serviceable receiver. Is he as dynamic as George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? No. Or Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? No. But what they have right now, he's serviceable, and he can still win. Like I said, once again, he's 28 years old. He's not a 32-year-old receiver we're asked to be a legit number 2. In this offense, they still have to figure out, since they let go of Geno Smith, can they get another possession receiver? That could be big for them. In the run game line, they just acquired Rico Dotto. That's big. So now you have Rico and Jalen Warren. They possibly can get another left tackle. So for them, it may not make sense to the outside world, but for what they have and what they can spend with, this is a perfect move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I like the move. I don't. Everybody else may hate it, but I like it.
All right, let's go to Philadelphia here, where they are just doing the subtraction thing, honestly. And that is, again, it all comes back to money this time of year with the free agency negotiation.
Money's the motivation.
It's a motivation for a lot of things. So they have said goodbye to Jalen Phillips. He got a cool $120 million from Carolina. Reed Blankenship, their defensive captain. Nakobe Dean, big locker room presence, huge snap percentage as a linebacker. And then, of course, Jahan Dotson on day 1. So that's a lot of departures, Willie, with not a lot of additions thus far. Should Eagles fans be concerned?
Well, I would tell Philly fans to do something that they're used to hearing. That's trust the process, right? This is what they do in Philly. Trust the process. You got to understand, Jalen Phillips' contract, I think it was too much for them stomach. They let him walk. You talk about Nakobe Dean. He was injury prone. They let him go. But they was also prepared because they had Jaheed Campbell out of Alabama to kind of fill him right away. You also got to talk about losing Johanna Dotson. I may be chopping up his name. I apologize.
Jahan Dotson.
He seemed like he can never find his footing within the offense. They let him go. And Reed Blankenship, for me, is the one that hurts the most solely because I thought he was the glue to that secondary. It allowed Cooper to be Cooper and the young man, Quinyon Mitchell, to be him. Nevertheless, man, they have 9 draft picks, right? And Howie Roseman, this is his time of year. He doesn't lose his time of year. So I felt like, with everything that they've lost, they were prepared for the loss, and they'll be ready to go in free agency in the draft.
Yeah, I'm with Willie on this one. Look, trust the process. Howie Roseman, he deserves and he's earned the opportunity for fans and even us who aren't Philly fans to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he has consistently built a competitive roster year in and year out.
Yeah, more than competitive.
Yeah, like a Super Bowl contending roster. What I would say, like, in terms of Reed Blankenship, like, I feel you on that one because over 90% of their snaps, he was always on the field. There was only 2 other players that played more defensive snaps than Blank, which was Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean. The others, you mentioned Jordan Phillips. He didn't produce. Had he produced, and I know pressures are important, but pressures and sacks, when you talk about the group of guys that he's mixed in with in terms of pressure rate and pressure percentage, with Will Anderson, Nick Bonito, and Micah Parsons, and then there's obviously Jalen Phillips.
They get the pressures and
they get the pressures and they get the sacks. And so had he done that, I believe that they would have shown interest in, you know what, maybe we live with this. But with them having such a deep defensive line, specifically in that interior, we can go find somebody that can rush the passer.
So this is one of my specialties. 2 things can be true. Like, you guys are, Howie Roseman's maybe the number 1 pick, right? Les Snead, Brett Veach, Howie Roseman. Like, he's on the short list for best general manager in football, and Eagles fans should trust the process. And I will even take it a step further. Like, you can't even make any sort of allegation of they don't spend.
Yeah.
They paid Zach Bond. Obviously they've paid Saquon, they've paid A.J. Brown, they've paid Lane Johnson, they've paid Jalen Hurts.
He spends.
Like they spend cash, they spend to their cap limit, all that they spend. So at some point you have to make choices. Last year they chose not to pay Milton Williams, price of doing business. This year you choose not to pay Jalen Phillips, price of doing business. I'll concede all of that. But at some point there is a straw that breaks the camel's back of just like, that's a lot of talent to leave. The draft is, yes, it is his specialty, and yes, Howie Roseman hits on it more often than not, but he also has misses. Like he could have taken Justin Jefferson. He didn't, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that could have taken Justin Jefferson.
I know, but he took it was Naylor, right?
Yeah.
He took a receiver, everyone has misses. So all of a sudden, if you're like, well, Howie's just gonna restock the cupboard. Sometimes you don't. And so if it's a couple of off-season of departures and then you have one of those off-seasons of bad luck, regression to the mean, whatever the case may be, like, it's just a lot of talent to leave in a short period of time.
Yeah, but I think the biggest issue for him right now is how can I get this O-line up and running, right? Like, he has to.
That is a big issue.
He has to go into this draft and draft some big uglies that can really help Jalen Hurts out. And maybe on top of that, he's also going to have to figure out, man, what's the deal with A.J. Brown? Like that's
a lot of issues.
That's a legit concern. So I like Howie Roseman. He doesn't miss, and I think everybody that we just mentioned it is what it is.
I've been looking forward to talking to Willie Colon about Geno Smith coming back to the Jets.
You and everybody else.
All day. His man covers the Jets, and I don't know how he's going to put lipstick on this, but I cannot wait to find out. The World Baseball Classic continues as Team USA takes on Italy. It's the final game of group stage tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. We can't wait. Right here on FS1. All right, let's head down the street. Geno Smith is a Jet.
Geno and the Jets.
Again. Let's run it back because it worked so great the first time. Let's see the trade details here. The Raiders trade Geno and a 7th to the Jets for a 6th. So not exactly the largest compensation that we've ever seen, but, you know, he is ready to go. Diana Rossini, friend of the show, already in Jersey, already at the Jets facility, taking his physical, so this trade is official. Willie, you were a Jet, you covered the Jets.
I was actually a Jet his rookie year.
Okay, so
I became a Jet.
You played with Geno Smith. How you feeling, buddy? How should Jets fans feel?
Listen,
Talk to me.
Jets fans shouldn't hate the move. You might hate the memories, right? You might hate the memories, but you shouldn't hate the move. The Jets needed a competent quarterback. They needed competent quarterback play. I covered this team. I watched this team. Like, Jets fans get to turn it off. I can't turn it off, right? It's a part of my job. So I have to watch all 4 quarters for the last umpteen years of bad quarterback play and all the drama that comes into it.
I'm sorry.
So thank you. But I would say this is Geno's grown up. He's a competent quarterback. He lands in Vegas. We all know how deficient the Raiders were. a lot of what he went through in Las Vegas isn't his fault. But if you're the Jets right now, it's hard to evaluate the talent around you when you're not great at one position and that being a quarterback position. When Justin Fields and everybody behind him has failed, it's hard to see what you have in the receiver room. It's hard to see what you have at the running back position or the tight end position. Now you have a quarterback, who can stabilize the offense, and you have an OC with a very good resume in Frank Wright, and you have a head coach and Aaron Glenn who can simply focus on the defense, and we can figure out what his superpower is. So I think it's a great move for the Jets. I think Jets fans are like, oh, I don't want to hear about my quarterback, getting punched in the face, part 2 type thing. Geno's an adult. He's a solid quarterback. He would be great this year. I think he's
great this year.
Well, I mean, as far as being a bridge quarterback, is he going to be Stafford? No.
Okay.
Excuse me, America. But I think he's exactly what the Jets needed.
The Jets got better. It's simple. I'm with Willie on this.
Is that not damning with faint praise? Is that not clearing the lowest possible bar?
It may be. So prior to Sam Darnold doing what he just did and having the run that he had specifically this year, because no one was ready to say, yeah, Sam Darnold is the face of the resurrection projects at quarterback.
Yeah.
Prior to with what he just solely did in year 1 with the Minnesota Vikings. Geno Smith was that guy.
In Seattle.
Yeah,
you're right.
He was the guy. He was that guy that we were comparing the Sam Darnolds to. Well, he can be Geno Smith.
No,
he can be Baker Mayfield.
The 3 years before last year, 2022 through 2024, I wrote 4th in yards, 8th in touchdowns, 3rd in completion percentage. So he's better than what he was last year for the Ravens.
No doubt. And to Willie's point, a large part of what we saw and experienced out of Geno,
Nobody is.
I'm not removing him from blame, but
it was bad.
When you have guys in your face, mechanics kind of go out the window. You start doing things that are uncharacteristic. But in terms of him coming back full circle, and he said that in his tweet, it's cool to see a guy who understands, man, I had an opportunity coming out of college, being drafted by this organization, having high expectations of myself, them having high expectations of me, and it didn't work out. And now I'm a completely different individual. I'm much more mature, have the experience. I'm a better player, better individual. Now I get to come back to the organization that allowed me this opportunity to play in this league and drafted me initially to get them jump-started in the right direction. We know he's not the long-term answer. We know that. But to get them headed in the right direction, this is nostalgia.
And lastly, listen.
I'm interested. Go ahead.
Well, he's also making a little above vet minimum, right? So
from the Jets,
right? So he's not breaking the bank. He's not hurting the Jets. On top of that, being on that team in 2013, I'm gonna tell you, 1, we were the 2nd youngest team in the league, and 2, the Jets didn't have anything around Geno Smith to help Geno Smith outside the offensive line, and we had a solid running back. But receiver-wise, we didn't have anything. So Geno,
you think this is a good situation though to walk into?
I think yes,
it's not great.
But for where he is in his career, and if you had looked through the free agent class of quarterbacks for the Jets, this is the best pickup. Because you're getting Kyler Murray off a foot injury. You're not going to take on what Kirk Cousins has brewing. You're talking about Tua. He's a concussion away from being out of this league. Right now, if you're the New York Jets, you landed a quarterback who's competent, stable, and who wants to be back in New York.
So my theory is Geno just wanted to go anywhere where he would play. And he's even willing to go back to New York. Because I don't think that Geno had this offer in Pittsburgh. I don't think he had this offer in Minnesota. I don't think he had this offer in Arizona. I think he had this offer in New York, and he's like, I'm 35 years old, but I've only started 98 games in my career. There was a 5-year stretch where I played in 7 games. So I think he would have taken this, and it ended up being a trade, but he would have done anything to be a starter. And that's okay, but I would just say, go into it with reasonable expectations.
But I don't think anybody is it.
Because I don't think you're going to get Seattle version of Geno Smith.
I think
the Jets can't do that. 4th in yards and 3rd in completion percentage, 8th in touchdowns.
Well, they don't.
That is not happening.
You're talking about the Jets having a top 10 offensive line. Greg just pointed out we couldn't see Seattle Geno Smith because we got the Oakland Raiders. right? The Oakland Raiders
Vegas
were
Raiders,
30. The Las Vegas
I
Raiders
got
were
you.
31st on the offensive line. They couldn't pass protect. They couldn't run block. They were deficient in any area you want to put your finger on. So of course we didn't get Seattle, Geno Smith. Now you're getting Geno with a chip on his shoulder, with a really good young offensive line, a running back, and a receiving core. Now you have an offense with a really good OC. So yeah, I expect Geno to be better and maybe a resurgence of a Seattle Seahawks Geno Smith.
Look, I like it for the Jets. I like it for Geno, and I disagree in terms of he didn't have the opportunity because it was a trade. Like, I do believe that if Pittsburgh wasn't so stuck in the Aaron Rodgers world of we want Rodgers, they would show interest. I believe that they would show interest in Geno. The Vikings, obviously Kyler Murray is available, and he will be available, so that is what it is. Arizona. But I do believe there was a market out there for Geno Smith. The Las Vegas Raiders just happened to not have to release him and got something for him prior to doing that.
I mean, a 6th-round pick.
They got something for him.
Yeah.
Listen, again, I root for Geno too. I thought
It don't sound like it.
No, hold on. I thought the Seattle resurgence was amazing. Man, it was not a pleasant experience for Geno in New York.
Who you telling?
That's what I'm saying.
I was on that boat.
That's what I'm saying.
Front row seat.
So I have a hard time believing he's like, yeah, I really want to go back to all that toxicity.
But it's a different.
It's just this was the opportunity that he had to play
This is
NFL
different.
football.
Way different move, yeah.
Exactly. Different organization, different pieces, totally different locker room.
It's the Jets, man.
That part is the same.
It's the Jets.
That part is the same. Sorry, Willie.
It's the Jets,
That part,
buddy.
you have a point.
All right, tonight the USA takes on Italy. It's the final game of group stage. Of course, you can catch it at 9 o'clock right here on FS1. So the U.S. defeated Mexico last night. It was a good game. It was competitive. Mexico had the tying run on late. So they're 3-0. Team USA is to start the WBC. They've been dominating so far, as you can see. 29 runs scored. Pretty good in 3 games. You know, it's a bit above average in baseball. So, you know, again, a heavy favorite. You don't see the 5.5 spread run line very often, Willie, but are you expecting Team USA to dominate Italy tonight?
They got to be careful. Italy could turn this into a street fight, so they have to be careful. They've been, listen, Judge has been great, Riley's been great. They got the young stud, Nolan McLean from the Mets. He's going to be on the mound for them. But Italy could be sneaky dangerous. Listen, Mexico almost walked them down last night.
Yep.
Jaron Durant had 2 bombs in that game, and they just didn't have enough on the mound. USA was able to recover, but it could be a good one.
So I always, when I'm going to talk about baseball, it's like, can an upset happen? It's like, it's baseball. Like, baseball is such a weird game that one guy gets hot, one guy makes a mistake, you drop one ball, like anything can happen. But this team their lineup is overwhelming the offensive power. Watch it tonight on FS1. We're back tomorrow.